Welcome, everybody, back from the break. You're watching GDQ Hotfix here on twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. I am your host for Game Masters, Kiara_TV, and what a show do we have for you today. Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody for supporting Games Done Quick with your subscriptions, gift subs, and bits cheered. Your contributions help keep our shows running, and if you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and of course, access to chat during replays. You can also always support the stream by sharing the Games Done Quick channel with your friends. And also, if you're looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, you can join the official Games Done Quick Discord and add the Hotfix role to stay in the loop on upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. Use !Discord and Twitch chat for invites and more info. Now, today's show is going to be pretty special. There's going to be a lot going on, and it's going to involve a 4-player Elden Ring randomizer boss rush. I just said a lot of words, but here to help call the action as well as explain what exactly is going to happen today is the one, the only, the Spike Vegeta. Welcome to the show, Spike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kiara. Thank you so much for having me, but more importantly, having all of us here in our little group of friends. We came up with this little idea. Some of us, we call it Boss Hunter, Lockout, Boss, Rush, Randomizer, whatever. Whatever it is, we're having a lot of fun with it, and we're very excited to showcase four of my good friends here running around Elden Ring and its big open world and slaying a bunch of bosses. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we're going to have Derpy Dragon 15, a Free Shooter, Ragnoth, and Kuiper Don't Care competing simultaneously in different instances of Elden Ring with a lockout boss rush. So what this means is we have a partitioned area of the Elden Ring playable world. We're starting our players off at level 60 with a weapon, and then out they go into the world. And whatever boss they run into, whoever kills it first is going to get a set amount of points. But nobody else is going to be able to claim credit for that boss. Only the first kill. So that's where the lockout comes into play, Spike.
Yep. Yeah, it is it's an idea of, because a lot of people have been playing like randomizers with, there's all the different boss locations, but they're going to be a randomized boss from anywhere in the game, including the DLC. Also, enemies are going to be randomized, items are going to be randomized, all of their starting equipment and classes, those are all randomized, what all their gear is. It's very, very cool stuff. But I said, what if we add a lockout aspect to it? So once someone kills a boss location, so an early one, if you've played Elden Ring, the Tree Sentinel right outside in the early part of Limgrave. Once one player defeats that boss, all four of them will be in a call, and they'll call it out, I have defeated the Tree Sentinel, which was actually this boss. And once that happens, that is doing a number of things. One, they get credit for killing that boss. All of the bosses in this game are assigned a point value based on how difficult they are generally to defeat and maybe how long it takes to defeat them. Are they bosses with generally chunkier health bars, or they really like to use a lot of stall tactics? You will generally get anywhere from 1 to 10 points, but there are 3 little exceptions to that. There is the Scadu Tree avatar from the DLC. Because he's 3 phases, we gave him 12 points. Okay, a little bit. Melania, which anybody who knows about Elden Ring knows that she is very, very difficult. You actually have to go through both phases of her, and we will give you 15 points. And you might be sitting here thinking, all right, well, is the other boss going to be like Consort Radahn? No. A boss far more deadly than Mr. Consort Radahn. If you are able to find Rick, the god, the soldier himself, if you're able to find that sucker, you're not getting 5 points. You're not getting 10. You are getting 20 big fat points if you are able to take him down. So all the players tonight, we don't even know if he'll be in this pool, but if they find him, that's going to be massive for them winning tonight. But again, once they defeat the boss, they claim it. Other players can kill those boss slots, but they won't get the point value. But only the first person who kills the boss and claims those points has to name they killed it at all. So players could potentially say, oh, I've kind of etched out this corner of the map. I don't think anyone's going to try to contest me over here. Think of it like a big game of Risk we're playing, or Monopoly or something, yada, yada. the other players might try to sneak up from behind. They can still destroy those same bosses, get the money for it, and then go even further beyond. Now they're starting to take their territory. All of this will be done in just a 2-hour time limit. Think of it almost a little bit more like a sporting event. There's going to be a whole halftime show and everything where we're going to review how the players are feeling about it. It is a very, very cool setup. And these 4 players in particular that we're about to introduce to you, they've done like 30 of these in the last like 2 months.
Oh, every single
we
night.
all came up with the
really
idea.
Excited.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, some friendlies that were run before the show are going to determine something we're going to do right before we start the timer and head out into the world. Last thing I want to mention before we start, and this is going to be really cool for you all, is at the center of the screen that you're seeing here is a map. Right now we have it centered over the Caelid area, and there's all these little circles on it. So those are possible boss locations that are part of the pool. So everything in Caelid, everything in Limgrave, including Australia. You've got the Altus Plateau, you've got the capital, and you've got Lernia. So every boss in those locations, including the dungeons, is part of the pool. And individuals have kind of, ranked what they like to see. But also, you all can follow along with this tracker as well, because we have a link to the tracker that we're going to go ahead and get posted in chat here and pinned, that you can follow along, and you can hover over any of those circles and see who claimed it, how many points it was, and what bosses remain. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that posted right here. And so go ahead and click that at any time. You can follow along. But without further ado, we have to do a weapon draft here. And we have a very formal way of handling this. Derpy, Shooter, Kuiper, Ragnath, hello. Welcome to the show.
Morning.
So
happy to be here.
Morning, yes, as it is 7 p.m. for me, 10 p.m. for many of our lovely viewers here. But hey, in Kuiper world, it's morning 24 hours a day. So very important question for all of you. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 20. What am I thinking of?
I believe. I was gonna say. I believe. I'm gonna go first here. I'm gonna go with 9.
Okay, Derpy.
No, Freeze next in the picture.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with lucky number 13.
I'll go with number 4.
I will go with number 14.
All right. Well, close. Yeah, the number was 18. So, Derpy, congratulations. You were closest. So we have a weapon draft here, Spike.
Yes. So what we do is to kind of make it to where it's not just the starting class, because for the most part, when we were designing these settings, we wanted it to be very much like there's no downtime. You jump into the world. Elden Ring is generally a speedrun, a randomizer based on setup. No setup. You get this care package with a ton of different weapons in it, a bunch of different talisman, armor pieces, all sorts of goodies. Well, to ensure that things were going to be a little saucier every time, not to be confused with Saucy, who's helping us track bosses in the call. Hi, Saucy. That within this care package, we want everybody to use a unique weapon. So with the draft order that is generally decided by however we did on the last race, or in this instance, whoever gets closer to the number, Derpy now, I believe, has the number 1 overall pick. He can pick one of the weapons in this care package. Only he can use it, and our other 3 players have to then go and immediately completely delete it out of their inventory. After that, I believe we're going to have Free go second, Kuiper go third, and Ragnath go fourth. So with that being said, Derpy, let's hand it over to you. With the number 1 overall pick in the draft, what do you think of first of all, what do you just think of this weapon selection, seeing as you have the number 1 pick?
Yeah. So another aspect to it is we had the starting classes, which had random weapons as well, which we all selected. We don't know what class, but that's in our pool. So depending on what class you have, you might have a different weapon than others. So I'm actually going to go with the weapon from my starting class, which is one of multiple of our favorites, Poisoned Hand.
Ooh.
I had a feeling.
Yep. It was on the wretch for everyone to know. So it was, if you went for that weapon and you got a late pick, you were only stuck really with what is in the pool. And there's some options, but you guys have fun. I'm glad I got first pick.
Yeah, and to note, the starting classes are the only way we can get DLC weapons in our draft pool. If we find other weapons in the game, we are allowed to pivot to them as long as it's not one of the ones that was drafted. So if I find Poison Hand out in the world, I can't start using it. It's still banned from me because it was drafted by Derpy. But that being said, I'm going to draft the Wing of Estelle.
Ooh, very much one of the most popular weapons in the game.
I was hovering over it in preparation for you to pick it so I can discard it. I'm going third. My hot take is I think this group of weapons is dookie.
Dookie.
I think
We're gonna be looking for some
real. I think it's real bad. But I'm going to take something, one of my favorite weapon types in the game. I don't think I've ever particularly used this one. But I'm going to be using the Death Knight's Long Shaft Axe is what I'm going to use.
That was one of the starting class weapons. I thought about it.
Well, as it turns out, I'm also going to choose my starting class. I am taking the Horned Warrior Greatsword. From the Prophet starting class.
Great swords are hard to find a bad choice for. The moveset is generally good. I don't know if any of you feel like you want to describe a little bit about just like what is good about each of your weapons at all. I know obviously compared to other boss, this is nice. For the showcase tonight, y'all are gonna have to work around some maybe not A tier weapons. But like Derpy, you took the Poison Hand. Just really good fist weapon moveset.
It's the Star. If you know Star Fists, which are a popular weapon, it's Star Fist, but it poisons. So it's better Star Fist, is essentially what it is. It's great. I go full arcane, and that's the only stat I really need to upgrade, except my own vigor. So it's a nice. The one downside, we start with two-handed swords talisman was an option. I will not get the bonus from that.
Oh, that's right.
That is true. That is true.
So actually, I could just take that off because it will not help me.
All right, and again, our players are going to level 60 to help speed things up in the early game, so we're not, kind of grinding for souls and leveling up all the time. Kind of give a little bit more options for variability here. But looks like once we get everybody on the screen for starting the game, Derpy looks ready, Free looks ready, Rafa the Kuiper, getting there late to the party, but runners. Are you all good to go?
I'm just messing with the R2s. I'm just trying to get the timing of the attacks,
You can do that once we start the Hyper.
We should start the process of muting the commentator. So
I'm ready to go.
Spike, we're going to send our lovely players to their booths. And then any final thoughts before we get this show on the road? Okay, good luck.
Good luck, gamers. I'm gonna start muting the people.
It's okay. We have a little convoluted setup, but we're gonna make it work. All right, Spike. I'm gonna go ahead and count our runners down in 3, 2, 1. Go. Hopefully they got the message, and away we are into the boss rush. So these 4 players, they have spent so many calls together. And just to be clear, all of them, although you can't hear them, they are talking to each other throughout, sharing the information that you want to say. Because as soon as a boss is killed, they have to, again, proclaim that this boss has been taken out. So that way, no one else will waste their time. And it's a little bit chaotic at the start as we go in, and we see a Free Shooter immediately taking on the...
they're all 4 fighting him. He's such a... This is definitely one of the less intimidating bosses in the game. He only gives them 2 points, which again is going to be ultimately what decides who wins it. But they're all fighting at +0. It does look like Kuiper with that long shaft axe with the lead on our end. But we have got Ragnoth also pretty close. Ooh, we've got a big riposte right here from Kuiper. That's going to be able, unless it is weirdly delayed on our end, I believe Kuiper is going to get his points.
And you can see, again, everybody pinned in the message room or the chat room is a map. You can click on that and see as our lovely trackers, Saucy and Barrel, who are not in the call, but helping us out, keeping track of all the actions going on. So many bosses here, Spike, so much to keep track of, and away we go. So early 2 points on the board for Kuiper.
Yeah, Very, very cool to see all four of them. That might have been one where they all agreed to fight it. It might have also not been. They just saw it and said, oh, I can pick that off. If it usually looks like much of a chunky boss at all, players are going to be right now focusing on, again, all of their weapons. Anybody, if you're not familiar with Souls games, your weapons will upgrade as you go. They start at +0. But as they go around, we actually gave them somewhat easy access to being able to just buy all of these smithing stones to where they could upgrade their weapon all the way up to +10 if it is a kind of unique special weapon, or +25, both roughly the same power range overall for kind of more standard weapons. Early on, they're going to figure out whatever they can to get enough money to buy all those stones and upgrade all those weapons. You got with that being said, Ragnoth is the one immediately jumping down here, down to the coast of the opening Limgrave area, and finds himself an Erdtree avatar, of which there are many, jumping over that shockwave and going in for those big attacks. The Great Sword right here should be relatively good at doing the best thing you can do in the game, which is staggering bosses. That way you can fit in a bunch of punishment, then go for the riposte, then go for the massive opening on the recovery, which looks like, ooh, Rag's gonna wait, just roll into that one more time and get the kill. That is a couple points for Rag as well. The avatars might be 3-pointers. I sadly, for this commentary, don't have the exact point values for every single boss route. No, it's 2 points as well. So that officially ties it up. 3 minutes into the race, Kuiper and Ragnoth at 2 points apiece on one boss apiece.
Now, the early game is pretty chaotic. There's so many overworld bosses out there. And starting at level 60, we see Free Shooter heading over into Kayla. This is a play that he really likes to do. And each player has an opening route, so to speak, of I like going here, I like going here. And these players, again, they know each other so well. They know what each other likes doing. But eventually, these routes will have to converge as all of that easy fodder that you get right at the start of the game starts to dry up really, really fast. Again, we have 1 hour total in the first half, and the second hour it gets really exciting as a lot of those juicier checks are taken care of, and you're kind of left with trash remaining.
Yeah. You see right here on, I believe this is Derpy's screen, I'm looking, I know this is Kuiper's screen. He's selling off basically everything that he's not using as opposed to going and fighting a boss, just so he can try to buy as many of those smithing stones as possible. So big things you're trying to establish early on. Figure out how to get strong, and also see if you can maybe combine that with killing one of these Caelid bosses. Free likes to go for that because Caelid is very close to the starting area. It will give him a lot of runes because the runes are scaled based on the area you're in. And then they can use that to get the points, establish a little bit of a footing on a corner of the map that they can hopefully start racking up bosses in, deterring other players from going there and using that to get strong. It does look like Free elected to say he's running away.
Yeah, he was doing chip damage against that boss. Caelid, although easy access, even at level 60, if you do not have an upgraded weapon, you are doing chip damage on these bosses. Even though it's a regular Misbegotten, those don't get skilled really high. But in Caelid, early game, with like a +0 weapon, they're just gonna take forever. Anyway, here we have Ragnoth taking out an Onyx Lord. Really seeing the benefit of those big weapons with the insta-stagger.
Yeah, also see a little bit of the weapon art right there that I find pretty interesting. Yeah, Ragnoth right here using a little bit of that kind of wind tunnel. This boss, the big reason why he's not going to be worth a ton of points is because most things are going to at least make him flinch to where you can stagger him out of all of his various attacks. So it's really easy with a bigger weapon like this. Big bonks, a very high meta in Elden Ring. It just doesn't let things really get to have an opinion in the fight. He is wasting a little bit of time on him, though. Yeah, it's like another couple of swings. Yeah, any R1's going to stagger him.
Very nice.
And that is going to be another kill for Ragnoth to give him the slight lead here very early on. Ooh. Meanwhile, we have got Free has decided to go to a different area. So this is normally a dragon location. And it is a big amount of runes. I forgot exactly how much it is, but with this, he can go from +0 to basically +24, +25 whenever he wants.
But really quick, look here, Kuiper's found a Radon boss fight here in a very low scale area. This is a high point value target, Spike.
Yeah, this is actually potentially very nice for him. I don't know how upgraded he is right now. It doesn't look like he's +0. He got a little bit upgraded. But Radon is going to be one of those. I would imagine he is at least a good 8 points. Yeah, that's good chunky damage. And this is honestly what you want to see here. You find these low-scale bosses, but we still consider him an 8-pointer just because that is Radon. Yep. But again, those areas can also go pretty quickly. Yep. Looks like Kuiper needs one little chip damage and knocks him down. That's going to be big for Kuiper here early on. God slain. And he was just chilling on a rock in Limgrave.
But Free Shooter doing some good job. Got a nice riposte off of the dragon, taking a big chunk, and it really looks to be going to have a good time with this. 13 flasks, plenty of it remaining. It'll be a while there, but Derpy, what do you think of the hippopotamus? I hate this boss with a passion.
I think he is fine until he goes supersonic Sonic the Hedgehog on you. Because, yeah, all of a sudden you can just get a little bit of a weird an attack where he kind of rolls up and splinters off everywhere.
Yeah, here we go. Look at the top
attacks.
Left of
all of a sudden
the
you can take
Derpy here. There it is. There's the supersonic. Golden Hippo, just spinning around and wasting our time.
Yeah, he's already got him here. The biggest thing about these fists is that with a lot of the fist weapons, those charged R2s come out really, really fast. Like as fast as a lot of other weapons, just R1s, they're weak attacks, and they do an amazing amount of poise damage, which is what gets you those knockdowns. You can get in a ton of free damage. So yeah, that's why a lot of players like those. Again, though, I will say, compared to the weapons they've been getting to play with the last 2 months, this is one of their weakest starting class set of options they've had. Derpy liking to play over here because he can potentially get a couple of bosses over in this area. Derpy loves, and I guess I could say this in general, one of the big thing, again, killing bosses and getting points, that's great, but they also want to make sure they are finding their corner of the map, which they can establish and say, these are mine. There's another big boss I see for Kuiper down there. And with that, a lot of what they want to do is get access to the Altus Plateau. So there's a number of different ways to get there. There's actually 4 different ways to get up there. And the way Derpy likes to go is come over here, get the Vanilla Academy key, take that back over, get into the Academy of Raya Lucaria, and then take the Death Warp from there through the Abductor Virgins, getting into the Volcano Manor, and then taking the basement out of there into the Altus Plateau. Again, there are a number of different ways they can get there. Everyone's got their own preference, but you generally want to get some piece of the big pie up there, that big enchilada in the sky, because there's way too much good stuff up there. I can scroll up on my map right here, and you can just see all those little dots, all for the taking from all of our players, but who's able to get up there first and start establishing plays. See Derpy there with the orange square.
Almost like Monopoly, almost. But, Kuiper here, almost through with the Skidoo tree. Spike uses the correct pronunciation, but I still just always see this as Skidoo.
Skidoo.
This is a randomizer, right? We may have our opening rounds that we like to do, but ultimately, what bosses show up can really just greatly affect things. So Kuiper was able to kill phase 1 of Consort Radon for 8 points. And we're now on the final phase of the Skidoo tree after. You basically have to fight 3 of these suckers. Even a low-scaled area takes forever. There's going to be another 12 points just from 2 bosses. So 2 really, really high-value targets here.
What? Who planned out this scene? Because again, there are only 3 bosses in the game that give extra points. Looking over at Derpy right now, he is fighting Melania. We have got Melania, a 15-point value boss. Again, the nightmare for a lot of people casually, and she's not much better here. Kuiper just trying to tank that damage off the triple explosion, but now big damage. He knows he's in a lower scale area. There's definitely a skill involved with knowing when you are outscaled over an opponent, and you should force that damage a lot more. Derpy's going to be potentially eating a large amount of that infamous waterfowl dance.
Barely survives right at the end.
Drink, that'll be a double pump from Derpy. And a lot of why Melania has 15 points accrued to her, it is a randomizer thing. For whatever reason, you cannot separate the two phases of Melania. You're going to see her awkwardly jump up in the air, and now she's phase 2. So they have to take out 2 boss health bars here, while she is also one of the hardest bosses in the game. Meanwhile, again, we got bosses jumping around everywhere. We have got Free with the Wing of Astel trying to get some good staggers there with the weapon art, Nebula, and trying to fight one of the Godskin nobles.
Oh my gosh.
Derpy's got Melania down to half health. These are massive points on the board already. Ooh.
Yep, just needs to make sure she doesn't heal too much, but it looks like, okay, we're getting the dash attack. Oh, but the terrain that we're fighting in kind of
ooh, nice roll.
Manages to get through.
Oh, mistimed that roll just a little bit.
If you have not played Elden Ring, Melania does recover HP upon hitting you, so it's definitely, you want to dodge as much as you can. Derpy doing a great job here.
Mm-hmm. Also looks like on Ragnar's side, he is also trying to establish himself. Took the warp over into Caelid. Derpy unfortunately getting Scarlet Rotted there, but now going to go in and try to just force this one out. See if he can maybe get a stagger.
Really close there. Free about to take out another avatar. Makes quick work of it, but here we go. Oh, just barely gets the heal off right
pump
there.
It again.
I thought Derpy was a goner. You can see just can't get that last sliver of HP as, Blaine just keeps on healing up just a hair, but...
Derpy is down to only 2 drinks left. He's about to be down to 1 here.
Come on, Derpy.
We've got 2 of our players in Caelid right now. Looks like Free is back and ready to take on that misbegotten warrior.
Here we go. With no drink left, Melania falls. That's 15 points on the board right there for Derpy.
Unbelievable first try from Derpy. Loves to see that. And also a little bit of a sigh of relief that is just out of the pool. Ooh, we got Kuiper meanwhile moving down, trying to make a play towards what we affectionately call Australia. And I'm going to scroll down there in the map right now.
Just look at the shape.
One should anyone who ever is like, why do you call it Australia? Dog, look at the thing on the screen. That is Australia. I'm not risk-pilled to call it this. It is the shape of Australia. There's a bunch of bosses down there. They're relatively low-scaled. Again, it's kind of an extension of Limgrave. And potentially Kuiper is the only one moving down there. Although I will say, looking over, yes, he is. Yes, he is. So he can potentially take this and then take this little jump over to Australia, otherwise known as the Weeping Peninsula, and
that's the real name.
Bunch of points. Yes. But again, what is happening is all 4 of these players, they're in a call right now. So as soon as they defeat anything, like Ragnar just took out the Mimic tier, unfortunately only a 1-point boss right there, but was able to take it out. That gives information to the other players. Okay, they are over there. They just killed that boss. I have an image in my head of what their strategy is trying to do. So they know Kuiper is probably trying to get over to, again, Australia, Weeping Peninsula. Do we want to potentially send someone over? Do one of us want to go over and try to block him? Or are we just going to give him that whole area? Generally, they're not going to want to do that because that's a lot of lower scaled bosses. That's a lot of points that he can effectively monopolize, but we'll see how that goes down.
Yeah, we have Derpy now going through Raya Lucaria here. Heading up here to grab this Grace and has a couple options. Can continue on all the way up through now or can reverse turn around here. Head back to the elevator and go to Volcano Manor. But right now opting to continue on. I think the Red Wolf is right up past these stairs, which is a relatively low-scaled boss for the region. We'll see what he finds there.
Yeah, it looks like Derpy is electing to go up. There's kind of 2 main schools of thought here up on Derpy's side. You can either just go directly for Red Wolf and then establish, in order to get to Renala in here, you have to defeat the Red Wolf. Ooh, the Queen Abducted Virgins. Funny, because normally you would fight them as a way to get to the Volcano Manor in a way, out of the bottom of here. This is actually kind of a toxic boss. I'll just use the word. Because, yeah, they like to not really stagger to anything. The only thing you can take advantage to, if you hit their little kind of open cavity, they take increased damage. But yeah, they do these attacks where they just kind of spin around. They can stun lock you. Their range is pretty ridiculous. Oh, they've even got bloodlust? I haven't even thought about that. But that gets rid of one of them. Ooh, and we have Kuiper taking on Onze. This is actually, once again, good points for Kuiper in a relatively low-scaled area.
He can't keep getting away with this spike.
Yeah, honestly. So right now, you think if you're Kuiper, okay, if you're in his position, let's scroll back down to Australia right here. Is he just going to take everything down here? Or does he say, I've gotten enough of the bosses here to where I don't think anyone's going to bother taking the time to come down here. There's not nearly as much value. And I can now later on come back and just pick off all these bosses, maybe at the end of hour 1, somewhat early in hour 2, and start trying to go establish other positions in other places.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ragnar kind of encroaching in and heading to the Radon skip
cool.
here. This is kind of big and looks like, yep, you got it. This is a trick where you can jump into the Radon arena, and if you land and die on the surface by skipping a death plane, it'll give you the option to respawn at a State of America, which you saw right there, and then boom, you're outside of the Radon arena, can just head into the boss. And this is important because this opens up the entire underground, which we have not even shown on the map yet. There's a whole underground. All of those areas are part of the boss pool. So let's see what we have here on Ragnar's screen here in the bottom right. Because we're going to see a boss here. We do still get to summon the NPCs, and it is the Kindred of Rot. Starscourge Kindred of Rot. Look at that.
Okay.
This shouldn't be too bad with all the NPCs, but you never know.
It's a it's a boss that you don't want to terribly underrate because, again, the players are going to start at level 60. Level 60 is not over-leveled for Caitlyn whatsoever. Exactly. Definitely not the Starscourge Radon. So it's just two semi-weaklings, but they're little, like, I forget the exact name of the attack. They're little pest shots that they shoot at you. If all of that hits, that's actually a ton of damage.
Yeah, it could one-hit KO.
Thankfully, yeah. But it looks like right now they're able to get the one. Ooh, we have got dueling players right now actually taking the Death Warp to get to Volcano Manor. Standard, you would get captured by one of those abductor virgins. We'll see what each of them are trying to do. If one of them is going to try to go get one of the couple of bosses here in Volcano Manor, or if they're just going to try to go underground, kill the abductor virgin duo location down there, which more importantly will give you the first access up to Altus Plateau, which scrolling back up there on the map, and again, this is an interactive map, not for you all at home, but you can open up the link. I believe it's a pinned message we have in GDQ chat right now.
Pinned message there, and you could highlight. Oh, it's still somewhat interactive. You can't check things for us, but you can highlight over any number of the dots and see who has claimed it and what remains.
Yeah, you can see so all these boss locations up here. Yep.
Yeah, so right now, this is a good example of everybody knows that Derpy is in Raya Lucaria, has killed the wolf, and has access to Volcano Manor. But Free Shooter here on the top right of your screen also being here, Derpy has no idea Free Shooter is here because he hasn't killed any bosses here. So may come as a shock where Derpy was hoping to leave this for later to come in thinking, okay, I'm up here, no one's going to come and do it. But, Free Shooter has a very easy opportunity to kind of eat a little bit of Derpy's lunch here. But the Godskin Ancient Hero, I love how it combines the names. One of my favorite features of the randomizer. About to go down here for Derpy.
Yeah, very, very nice. And it looks like we've just got another Erdtree avatar here. It is a putrid variant, which just means he's the one that does the butt stomp and all the scarlet rot pops out and everything.
Oh, just look at that damage.
Almost the kill. He's going to want to watch out. This attack can very easily kill you, actually, which it almost did. And that would have been a long way back for Free Shooter. I don't know the last time he got a save. Either way, he's going to get us a couple of points. The real reward is going out this cave because for the first time, we're going to see out here in Altus Plateau. And look at all the bosses up here. And right now, according to Free, he's the only one up here right now. So he could just go off and pick off all of the just kind of fastest boss locations. You really love here in the first hour, the faster field bosses, the ones that are just out in the open. And then you're gonna look in more of the caves and whatnot in the second hour once the options get a little more limited.
Love
nice
that
little
Beast Fish
3
is
shot
going
there.
down like a regular NPC. Enemy, literally just a regular enemy with a health bar right there.
Just a guy.
Yeah, so, Derpy now knows, probably not too happy, spinning around there a little bit. I feel like, figuring out what do I want to do? Double back in and really thinking about it because, right now, Derpy knows Free is just heading through Altus and, there's not much that Derpy could do about it to contest. This is Free's bosses to take out. We got a Tibia Noble.
Yeah, nice quick one right here. He causes a lot of bleed, but he also bleeds himself. Couple of shots and he'll be able to take him out. Oh, that is big blood damage. The Bloody Hellas, I believe, is the weapon he's got. I've never messed with him itself, but it is very fun. Looks like Derpy is electing... Ooh, did Derpy take a death to the boss in here?
No, the boss is down. But I think headed down as if to also kill the abductor virgins and then back him out and no. So the only reason to remain here outside of I've not seen that that fall off there. These little verticality tricks, but I like this.
Yeah, because as you can see, there's so many boss locations up here. Derpy definitely feels like he needs to contest Free right now. It's a little bit of a thing because it's not a 1v1 we do for these races. It's a 4-player, and you can do it with more players. 4 for 2 hours in this restriction of the map feels really good. But how much am I going to rely on other players to potentially block them, block each other? And how much is it I have to do this or Free's just going to run away with this?
Yeah, we have Ragnoth, continuing to push the Radon advantage, knowing that he can be the first one to take it to the underground, at least get access to it. Now, important to note, Ragnoth does not know if anybody else has taken out Radon, but given we've seen bosses continue to fall elsewhere, Ragnoth's probably feeling pretty good that nobody else is down here right now, based off the information available. Now, as we're going through and killing a couple quicker boss here, any of these NPC boss that you're seeing Free up on your top right of the screen taking out, these guys can just be a pain. Thankfully, the weapon's doing really good. This is a good NPC killer weapon. You can kind of just throw out those stars and see ya, easy points. But looking at the scoreboard here really quick, we have Kuiper in first place, 44 points. And Derpy in second place with 29 points. But one thing I want to point out here, Derpy only has 4 bosses on the board, but is averaging over 7 points per boss. Yeah. Which is, next closest is Kuiper averaging about a little over 5 points per boss. So really hitting those high value targets definitely helped a little bit by Melania.
Yeah, for sure. Again, Melania with the big 15 points. The last one already, we're not even at the end of the first quarter. And the only other massive point value boss out there would be Rick. Wanted him to be a little bit of a golden ticket to get into Willy Wonka's factory. Yeah, you find him, that's 20 points. But again, in the boss pool, I forget the exact number, it's around 125 bosses in this restriction. For anyone wondering the nitty-gritty details, we basically wanted no DLC and nothing beyond Morgott in the capital. Otherwise, you're kind of getting in more it keeps the world open enough for them to get into, but not so open by adding the DLC to where, players can go off and they would literally never snipe each other. So it kind of gives us a nice little bit of a balance. I hope we see at least a couple of potential snipes. Worth going, I'm going to pop over to the underground view right here, where we've got just a handful of bosses down here, but Ragnoth looking to establish himself as the one who's going to potentially take out all of those. It does look like also at least Free and Ragnoth utilizing that Flame Grant Me Strength that I imagine they both started with. I don't see either Kuiper or Derpy using it, so maybe it got picked up later on, but those can be in their little starting kit care package. And with that, what was that weapon? Oh no, okay. For a second, I thought he found
hidden crystal axe or something. I didn't quite get the whole
thing. For a split second, I thought it was the Death's Poker, which is another big actually speedrun meta weapon. That was not what it was.
Yeah, one thing I do want to mention that I don't think we talked about as we see Derpy taking out the boss that Free Shooter just did. This is where the abductor versions are. So even though Derpy has to kill this to get to Altus, will not be getting any points for this boss. But there's still, as you can see on the map, so many bosses in Altus Plateau, including stuff in the capital, that it's worthwhile to go here and try and split this up while you still can. But the players are not locked in to that starting weapon that they have. So if they find something else out there that they really like, they can respec to it. Usually you're going to have to spend some time, drop a larval tier, and respec to make the maximum use of it. But if you start with a stinker, you can change to something better.
Yeah. It doesn't look like any of our players have necessarily found something. Again, what part of my goal with when I sort of initially came up with the idea for these settings, and then everybody in this group, we have all contributed to making it what it is today. But I think a big thing for all of us was just, we want this to be a randomizer and a way of playing Elden Ring where there's basically no downtime. It's just 2 hours of action. We've been sitting here for only like 26, 27 minutes by my clock, and we have already killed over 30 bosses between these 4 players. There is a small world, I believe they've done it one time now, where we could see a full clip. Like literally every single boss in the pool could be slain tonight. And that would be pretty freaking cool. But we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, also to finish my point from earlier, there's about 125 bosses in this pool. There's 206 or 7 bosses, I believe, total. So there's that many bosses, a good 80 or so, that won't be in the pool at all, which makes it a little exciting because you might never see the Melanias and the Soldier of Godric and whatnot. So when you do find them, it's a big pop-off. Oh, it does look like Derpy. Oh, go ahead.
All right. Derpy is heading to what I affectionately call Castle Stinky, the shaded castle.
Ooh,
here.
Stinky.
Potentially just to grab the Grace here, because that is a little bit of a journey to go all the way through the Poison Swamp. Kuiper, meanwhile, cleaning up some of the quick overworld bosses, just was over at the Scenic Isle, taking out that Deathbird. So quick, like 13 points there for Kuiper, just cleaning up some of these overworld bosses here that, Kuiper knows where everybody else is and is kind of just sticking to his own thing, not going to try and contest anything. And is instead going to clean up most of the remaining things that have been left behind as, Derpy and Free are fighting over Altus and Ragnoth is clearing the underground. So that kind of leaves a large amount of the rest of the world for Kuiper to just go clean up as he chooses.
Yeah, let's focus real quick on Ragnoth here in bottom right as he's taking on Malekith, one of, I think, the hardest bosses in the entire game. I think the number 2 hardest, at least in the base game. This dude, if it wasn't for his tiny health pool, would be number 1 in my opinion. His the ways he can have the Black Blade style attacks that drain your health. His attacks, in a lot of ways, it's not just important that you roll through the attacks, but your positioning is also important, especially on that double swipe. Yeah, Ragnoth doing a good job of projecting exactly where he's going to be, moving into that left hand so he doesn't get caught by the second swing of that little spinneroonie from him. Wants to see one of the big attacks. Ooh, he's going to get stuck in this unless you get behind him. Yeah, I'm going to try to top himself back off again, losing a lot of that max HP. Big exposure. That is definitely his best opening right there. Very good position
not
on this
going
double.
for multiple hits. Knew that he had the dodges, and that's Malekith down for Ragnoth. Huge amount of points there from the underground, and still, so that was 9 points on the board there for taking out Malekith phase 2. Again, these bosses are split up for the phases, with the exception of Lania.
Yeah, I want to call out that was like Ragnoth's first good boss he fought. He had killed 9 bosses before that and had only 20 points to show for it. He had been averaging just over 2 points per boss, which is just awful. Ooh, Free Shooter taking an unfortunate death right there. This is definitely a tough area. Again, the enemies are very highly scaled, and the Deathrite Bird tried to just kind of tank one of his big AoEs, got the Deathrite Bird all the way down to a low amount of health, is going to have to start the whole thing over. Vanilla, this is actually just a Death Bird. I wasn't looking up until that death right there. This is actually one of the more toxic arenas for a boss because a lot of anywhere where there's just a number of other enemies, little ads the bosses have, all those enemies are randomized as well. So sometimes it's not necessarily the boss that is the problem. You could also have it here on Derpy's side with the boss on Pride Rock. He's got a Ghost Flame Dragon. There's 7 other randomized enemies around him who could all make this even worse. Now, there is a world where could he make like Scar and jump off Pride Rock right now? There's a big old fall right to his right. And I'm sure Derpy would love to see that just to save him a bunch of time, a bunch of headache. All dragons as a base, even the lower level ones, we gave at least 5 points to just because they are the king of stallers.
Yeah,
they can easily just fly
up,
away.
Go away, and then, breathe fire from the air. And they're also pretty tanky, especially these Ghost Flame ones. Nice stagger there, and again, just opting to just keep chunking in. He's got these really fast, agility, dexterity-based weapons to kind of, get more out of the stagger than a riposte, walking all the way to the head. Just better to chunk it out. But Pride Rock is really dangerous because although the bosses can fall off, it's very easy for them to knock you off as well. So a lot of these bigger attacks from the dragons can kind of send you flying, and even if they don't deal too much damage, hard to deal with when you fall to your death.
Yeah, so this is pretty toxic. I've said that like 12 times now. I'm going to try to figure out other words. Sorry. But this is the Ghost Flame Dragon in the Pride Rock position, which normally has a bunch of random ads that come with it. But also, this is the worst variant of the Ghost Flame Dragon, the one that comes with, we always just say, with the boys. There's a bunch of different bosses that also have ads with them. They can waste a ton of time and do way more damage than you would think. They're also skeleton-based enemies, so not only do you have to deplete their health bar, you then have to also, where did he go? You also have to hit them while they're down to actually clear them. I think at this point, Derpy is just trying to deplete those last couple of hits. He needs 2 more charge R2s. He can do a single pump of his health right there. A little bit of a trade, but that is fine.
Should be it for Derpy.
That is one, and there he is.
Oh my god, it is a flurry of action over here. Double crystallines down for Ragnar. We got the triple crystalline. Let's see, these look like the rotted crystalline warriors. 4 Kyber.
Yup.
We got another draconic or a plague tree spirit here right outside the capital for free shooter. Our first that now has entry into the capital itself and a whole bunch of bosses. So we'll see if free shooter opts to take this all the way to the Morgott location. As we take a quick look down here in the bottom left, so these crystallines, they come in a variety of packs. There's a 3-pack, there's another 3-pack, there's a 2-pack, there's the individuals on their own. I think this is the highest value pack, the 3 plague ones. You want to get a riposte in as soon as you can. Once you do that, they kind of stagger forever. So as long as when you're fighting 3 of these, that you kind of keep them separated, they're not all attacking you at once, they go down relatively easily. So
okay.
There is the stagger. Big bunch of damage. Now you're just going to see here as every single hit just will stagger the crystalline, and Kuiper can just sit here all day, and that crystalline can do nothing about it.
Yeah, good. You just kind of wait in between hits. Yep. Able to take out the trio, though. So, and you also said that a duo went out as well. So,
yeah, so many bosses here everywhere. The Revenants for free shooter here. So this one is one of my least favorite bosses. So thankfully, just able to take care of it before that made it look so easy. That thing can just keep on attacking you and attacking you and attacking you, but is going to still get this item and head into back into the capital ramparts here. So there's one boss on the right side that we haven't done yet. So we'll see on the outskirts what we're doing. And
worth pointing out. Yeah, it wasn't quite able. That one's not too bad of a death. You're right there at the top of the bridge. It's worth pointing out, Ragnoff no longer underground. If I go back over here on the map to the underground section, we see obviously it's only Ragnoff down there. Took out just a lot of the fastest bosses. Was able to give himself access to the Altus Plateau through the capital itself, kind of going in from the backside. He has really established the underground. I would be pretty surprised if anybody else tried to go down there. But there are other ways into the underground where players could elect to try to snipe some of those and not let Rag have all of them. Unfortunately for Ragnoth, we also look at the points. He is not, unfortunately, finding a lot of high-value stuff, although that might be changing right here as he's fighting one of the, I'm not going to say it, it's not toxic, but it is kind of toxic. It is the Dancing Lion, and it is the version that is going to try to deathblight him.
There it is.
And he is fighting him in a closet. I've had to fight him in this very arena before. All these enemies right here.
Okay, we're good.
Can he get the kill before he gets death blighted? And he's going to get
really
a Stormhawk.
The whole arena was full of death blight. That's a big pickup for Ragnoth. Really hoping to find more of those bosses here.
Meanwhile, we have got Free Shooter, who is taking on one of the only duo bosses where each boss is pulling from a different spot in the boss list. So he's at least got a Knight's Cavalry right here, which reset, but will keep the HP value. And it looks like he also comes, his brother, these are normally 2 Tree Sentinels. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gonna leave a mark. The other one is that ulcerated tree spear, which generally our players are going to find some way to isolate one of them, as you would imagine, and then try to take out the other. You can also focus in on Ragnoth right here on your bottom right, as he is trying to do a nice little skip to skip over about half this little mini dungeon, was able to nail it right there, taking off his weapon and doing that little down punch to wedge himself into the corner, give himself that little shortcut, and then make his way through in order to get to the, I believe the Falling Star Beast is normally what spawns here. Not that it matters. It's boss randomizer. There's literally no context there. Who's it going to be now? I can't. Can you see through the cracks, Kiara?
Whatever it is, it appears to be small.
Ooh, okay. So this can also be a little rough. See, I used a different word right there. Yo, I love this absolutely massive weapon art. This is actually so good for crowd control on all these little trash mobs. Because, yeah, normally, this can be, if it's in a higher scale area, this is worth more points than you would think. But this is doing a good job of clearing them out and then also able to get Ragnoth the kill on the 2 that matter. Very good. Another couple points.
Up, and we're heading back to the underground here. That can mean only one thing. We're heading to the capital, I believe. Or Ragnar.
Yeah, I would think at this point, yeah, because he warped specifically to the Fia's champion location. This is the 4th and final area, generally, that you will take in order to get into Altus Plateau. It's a little bit of a maybe semi-unintended path for it, but you're able to, this warps you directly into the capital, where the end of, for the purpose of this race, the map will be. And then you can simply go backwards. You can't go through this fog gate to fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel, but instead you can just kind of hop around it. Ooh, we have got another massive boss right here, and that is a big old dodge from Free. Unfortunately, he's out of blue juice. He's got to use regular attacks. It looks like he has at least 1 blue juice. We've got Gaius, another one of the big remembrance bosses, or really major bosses of the DLC right here. This guy can be a lot of hard, especially if you're a little unfamiliar with his moveset. It's another one where your positioning is very important. Exactly where on his side you kind of want to live for. Free getting those big staggers, showing off why the Wing of Astel is one of the best weapons in the game. It's so good at staggering, and it's just a little tiny curved sword. Why it's this good at staggering the bosses, I don't know. But here it is. One more little slap, and we have got even more points for Free. Switching over to Derpy's side in your top left. He is on phase 2 of Renala, and Renala has definitely seen better days. My God. She is down on her makeup game. My God, look at this thing. A little bit chunkier than you would think.
Yeah, she's falling apart a little bit there.
Yeah, her lost a few of her insides, but this is okay. This is okay. Yes. And what's nice about these standards,
I swear.
I'm so sorry. These 2-phase boss fights, if you're able to get the kill, you will get points for each of them. This is and I don't know if we gave it more points or not, but it's not just the base Dragonkin Soldier, it is the special one you find underground, the Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. So I don't know what Derpy fought in phase 1 here, but he can get a double payout. And again, looking at the point values right now, Kuiper's still with the lead at 73 points, living off a couple of those big bosses he killed early on, like the Shadow Tree Avatar, like Radon, Consort Radon Phase 1. Free only about 11 points behind at 62. And you've got Derpy and Ragnar tied at 46 points apiece. We've just got different ones. But Derpy is about to push himself up into third place with this double boss kill. And I'm actually going to scroll up in the map myself right now, where you all can as well type into the chat and see what these are. Renala Phase 1 we got, and Raya Lucaria. Yeah, that's going to get him up to 55 points. Looks like it was 9 points total between the two of them.
Very solid pickup.
Yep.
All right, so what's our cavalry count so far? I think this is at least the 5th one that we've seen so far. The Knight Cavalry that Kuiper is on the bottom left. The most common boss in Elden Ring. There are 10 or 11?
There are 10 of them in this game. And what's funny is, casually, it's very common to talk to players and they never found one of them because they're only nighttime bosses, which if you ever die, Elden Ring's a pretty hard game. You tend to die a lot. It resets the time of day to the morning. So unless you let it get all the way to nighttime and you walk into specific areas of the map, then yeah, you don't fight any of these things. They're worth at least 2 points, I believe, just because they can stall you out and run away a bunch. But yeah, we've started. Listen, these settings are very, very fun. I want to get to the point where we can start also having like Monopoly rules to them. You can start claiming like, hey, I killed all 3 of this boss, so now I can put houses on these things. I'm going to start charging rent if you try to come in my area. And those Knights calves, those are the railroads. Every time you can start doubling that rent every time lands on those suckers. Hell yeah. I don't know how I'm going to make that work, but it's going to be hilarious when it happens.
All right, free shooter here, still largely uncontested for most of the Altus Plateau, continuing on here. Taking out Godfrey, at least the first phase of it, and our other Dragonkin soldiers. So I'm aware of 2 of those in the game, and we kind of killed them both really close apart.
Yeah, there's either 3. I think there's 3 of them in total.
Mm-hmm. Probably one in a dungeon, man.
Yeah, there might have been. They're all found underground. I think it's 3 of them. So, but yeah. Ooh, what do we got here? We've got Ragnoth up in Altus Plateau. Again, was able to basically go the backwards route. And he's going to be taking on Morgoth. We know it's Morgoth because he's already got his Morgoth's curved sword in hand. It is not like in its cane phase. So this can potentially get a little nasty. This is a higher scaled area, although that's still really solid damage we're seeing from here. Again, Ragnoth getting, unfortunately, not reading Kiara's brain the best and picking a 4 when you picked 14, I think. Or you picked 18. You picked a big number.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I rolled dice, and I always roll well. So, I'm surprised it wasn't a nat 20. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Anyway, I was gonna say you can also tell it's Morgoth by the boss health bar. It'll say Morgoth instead of Margit. That was really pointed out towards you if you can't see it. We have Kuiper with the Mad Death Knight.
The dueling Death Knight usages. That is the Death Knight's long shaft axe that he's using. This one might be the twin axe version, though. Yeah, it looks like it. It's so dark, I can't see it.
Oh, there we go.
Nice backstab. Nice fishing that out.
Ragnoth. Good pickup.
Very well done. Another mechanic we haven't brought up as we're here entering the last 15 minutes of the first half. As you do see the usage of stone sword keys right there. So a number of the bosses in this area that we're playing in the map are locked by stone sword keys. It's generally quite a few of the Evergales, the Everjails in this game.
Everjails, yeah.
Will cost 1 to get into. And a lot of the dungeons, kind of the meteor dungeons, will cost 2. So players just have to hope that they're able to find them, or they're able to get to merchants who can sell them somewhat consistently. Otherwise, Yeah, you can get into areas like this one that freeze in where, bang, he did one little skip, drop down to the lever, and now he's already in the boss fight. So even though this cost him 2 Stone Sword keys, it can be very, very worth it. Popping his Flame Grant Me Strength, and now going in, who is in here? It is the...
Radagon.
I love Radagon's music. I can't hear it right now, but I can hear it in my brain.
Yes.
In my brain.
Fortunately, you're not going to hear it for too long because we're going to make quick work with...
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Oh, yeah, it's such an awesome weapon. I need to use this next time.
Yeah,
I believe we got our first Falling Star Beast here at the top left here for Derpy Dragon. These are another one that I really hate, these bosses. They're immune to practically everything. They have a couple weak points, but even then, like, unless you get right to the face, they just take so long.
Yes, it looks like, I actually didn't know, they are not immune to poison. So it's actually very ideal for Derpy and the poison hand right here because he's got so much health. That actually chipping away is doing really good damage because this boss can definitely waste a ton of time. Otherwise, it is the full-grown Falling Star Beast. There's only one of those in the game. You tell it's full-grown. One, you can read the name down there. I guess this one doesn't actually have the name down there. It's just Putrid Falling Star Beast.
One of the many regulars.
But you can tell because it has no, it is the full grown. You can tell because it has an eye. That is the tell for it. Yeah. It is bigger as well, but like that's kind of hard to tell without them.
Maybe able to take it out with this combo, with this stagger. Oh, not quite.
Well, it looks like I think he was trying to get the riposte right here.
Yeah. And
this thing stayed poisoned the whole time.
Yeah. At this point, Derpy could wait it out, but why bother? Just get that last little chunk. It may just die to poison here. All right.
There we go.
GG's. And we have Kuiper and Derpy both in Caelid right now, and this Kuiper thought maybe he would have had it to himself, but now knows Derpy's fighting here as well. Opting to go straight into the Minor Erdtree Catacombs.
Yeah. Kuiper, I think Kuiper is the one of the players that settles the most on, I'm actually a lot of times going to be okay with not going to Altus and just saying, I'm going to play to Australia, I'm going to play to Lernia, other stuff in Limgrave, maybe some stuff over in Caelid. And if the other players aren't going to super contest me, I'm going to see if I can just take out that part of the map. It's not a bad strategy, as a lot of times, if higher point value bosses land down there, you can also take them out very, very quickly. But they're just not as dense areas as you have up in Altus. But it looks like Derpy is giving him at least a little bit of competition down there as you see that orange circle dropped.
Yeah, Ragnoth here with my favorite boss, Wormface, because it just makes everything that comes in here a really funny name. So we got O'Neill Face here. This is
O'Neill, Shaquille himself.
O'Neill Face, right here. I believe this is the one that shows up from Caelid. So, not the mountaintop of the Giants one. Very nice deflect there.
Yeah, this is another one where, kind of like we saw with Pride Rock earlier, it's a little rough that this is the boss that summons 80 ads, because there's also just a lot of natural ads in here. Man, those parries from Ragnoth looking slick as butter or something slick. Able to get the kill. Looking up here, looking at different little chunks of the map, we're seeing a lot of free picking off points here in Altus, definitely the most, but Ragnoth starting to take a few as well. Moves into third place ahead of Derpy. Again, off still a very poor, average point count per boss at 64 points. Kuiper's still maintaining that very slim 83 points, 4-point lead over Freeze 79. But we do have Kuiper moving down to his next boss. Let's see what he's able to find. He's got a cemetery duelist.
Kuiper in the same dungeon? No, they're not.
They're not. Yeah. They all a lot of times look the same. Erdtree Burial Margit right here. So this was just the Margit variant, obviously, not Morgoth. He's got the
Kuiper only
more
picking up
style.
2 points from that duelist.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Free has established, I am going to be the capital guy. Running up the big branch here. These are generally going to be some of the highest scaled enemies you're going to run into. If you're wondering what the highest scale positions are, it's generally going to be, and I'm going to show it on the map right here, it's this top right corner of Caelid. As you see, none of those circles have been claimed. Those are the highest scaled enemies. For whatever reason, Dragon Barrow up there just has, everything gives you like 60, 70, 80, 90,000 runes, and all the bosses are turbo tanky. So generally players are gonna wait on that at least until the second half. Meanwhile though, as I'm yapping, Ragnar taking on another one of the big bosses of the game. We have got Astel, one of the 2 in the game. Because weirdly,
nice
there's
stagger.
Astel. Yeah, very nice stagger. Let's see if he can maybe get up there. Yeah,
Not
sometimes
quite,
you
but
can kind of
doesn't
chain that
need
together.
it because just chunking the damage. Whoa, right in the dome.
Right as he was about to warp away, Good knew exactly where that was going to be. Ooh, we've got one of Kuiper's favorite bosses. We have got Mesmer Phase 2 from the DLC. Nice dodge into those various attacks right there, and then able to roll through the AoE explosion, and now has to know off of the different snake attacks when the openings are going to be for Mesmer. Got him very low.
Just have to be patient here.
Yeah, got clipped right there, but that's fine. Rolling back into it, doing those
Just be able
big
to get
charged
one more.
R2s.
Boom. Huge
Boom.
pickup for Kuiper.
Kuiper doing a very good strategic decision of finding the bosses with the most point values. That's going to be another like 8-point fatty for Kuiper. Kuiper already here near the end of the first hour moving towards 100 points. Meanwhile, poor Free trailing him. He's going to fall even further behind as he is only able to find, it's a duo boss. Duo bosses generally, like these probably give at least like 4 points right here, as they can just be naturally a little time wasty on you, not let you get to focus on one of them at a time. This is going to get Free a ton of runes. The players would like to ideally also do some leveling up throughout the run, but generally you're not going to get a ton of level ups after you just get to start at level 60. You could definitely do a variant of these settings where you just get to where you're going to start back down more, the level 10, level 15, whatever your starting class is. But we liked that this allowed for a little more freedom to jump up to the higher scaled areas a little bit faster. Meanwhile, Ragnar back underground. He's in Nokrin Eternal City. What's in here? It's way off in the distance. I see a regal tree sentinel.
I believe this was the Moose Senior location up top. I don't think we've been down to the lower.
Oh,
so there's 2
baby!
Moose fights.
I love finding a railroad in this cave because for whatever reason, he doesn't like to actually ride his horse. Talk about the Knight's Cab. That's going to be a big 2-point fatty for Mr. Kuiper right there. That's not going to quite get him to 100. Meanwhile, you got Derpy scrolling back over here, moving up to the, Carrier Mana right here, which have 2 bosses basically back to back. This first one's not going to give him a lot. It's just a Mad Pumpkinhead. It's just the solo. The only thing you got to worry about is making sure you can actually hit him over that big fat dome of his. Honestly, probably not a great matchup for like a fist weapon, as one of the only real problems with fists are that they have shorter range, but it's a Pumpkinhead. Nice quick little...
Even in high skilled areas, they kind of fall over.
Spiked crack tier right there, though. I always forget which one that is. If that's the one that makes you stagger enemies faster, or it like maybe ups your like charged attacks. If it ups your charged attacks, then Derpy should definitely put that on.
Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. We have Ragnar, because we have about 5 minutes here left in the first half before we head to a break and interview our runners and see what they're thinking about the seed so far. Ragnar now in the lower levels of Nokron, and there's a couple bosses down here to do that nobody's even bothered with. They're a little bit of a time investment, especially Moose Jr. You got to go light 8 of the torches. It just takes forever. We have a free shooter up on the top right doing the Celia escape, as I call it, climbing up those routes, pretty precise set of tricks to go clear out some more bosses. And looking at Caelid here, a lot of it has been taken care of, and like you may be seeing a play towards that northeast corner eventually. There's still quite a few bosses over here to do, and maybe Free Shooter is feeling good enough to do it. We got a Golem Lord here in the top left for Derpy Dragon and one of the assistant in Everjail. So
looks like
a lot of
some
action
sort of-
happening. Whoa,
Yeah.
big hit there.
Yeah, the riposts on the golem always does massive damage in the chest for whatever reason. It's lore reasons, whatever. Kind of no matter what your scaling is. Now, worth noting, we've got the Deathbird right here for Ragnoth. He's actually liking to switch to one of his just basic hammer weapons because all enemies generally will also have a weakness based on not just like if weapons can bleed them or poison them or freeze them, but also just are they a standard weapon, a strike weapon? And those Deathbirds will just take more damage to strike-based weapons like he had right there. I've seen also Free bust out just the base club sometimes because they were just going to take that increased damage and do a good job. The base club and like those hammers, they do a really good job of staggering, especially with those charged R2s.
I was like, oh,
We have got a
not really
red
what you
wolf
want
right
to see here in the Dragon Barrow. This is a boss normally found in Lernia and is kind of meant to, die in a couple hits. But we're now in one of the highest scaled areas of the field of play. So, Free with this weapon, maxed out is doing good damage, but this is still a scary fight that if he gets into a bad combo, could just end him right here.
Yep. Yeah, I've definitely seen some of our players going to, the rare time where you see a stagger actually on the Red Wolf. Because
Whoa, this is what I'm talking about.
Die, yep. Normally Red Wolves will die in like 4 hits. The fact that he's living this many attacks is kind of telling you all you need to know. But Free like a master right there working it. And that's going to give him 94,000 runes that he's going to get to work with, potentially level up a lot more. And he's going to continue along this path, just like you were saying, Kiara, good call out, trying to work some of this northeast part of Caelid, the Dragon Barrow area. We've got just a couple minutes left before halftime, gamers. And again, the way it's going to work is it's a little bit of a, kind of like, if it's a basketball game or something, if the shot is in the air, then it counts. They're going to play to the 1 hour mark, and then they're going to have to quit out. But if there is a boss health bar on screen at the 1 hour mark, they can keep fighting them until that attempt is over with. That does eat into their second half time, which they will then just start later. You have got Derpy right now, had found a string of lower leveled bosses. Well, he just found a big one right here. We have got Lanziax, or Senesax. This was Senesax, right? Yeah, it's got the S on screen. I got to squint my little old eyes there. Sorry.
Yep, Senesax. And we got
so
is a Black Blade Kindred here on the bridge, or just a regular Kindred?
Oh, yeah, that's a Black Blade Kindred. This one might be the one that is also the Twin Blade variant. I believe it is. This is another tough one because this is a weapon. Oh, he's in that high skilled area. He's going to take a bunch more damage there as well. You normally would fight a Black Blade Kindred just to another 100 meters over to the north of this. But this is definitely the harder one of them. Honestly, though, dude, I continue to be impressed by the Wing of Astel. Free maybe getting a steal here with the number 2 overall pick. I always talk up Free's weapon knowledge of this game. Oh, another big boss right here. We might be fighting a number of them, although it's, again, in a low-scaled area. So Kuiper continuing to benefit. This will get him, and saying, I don't want to wait for your long attack. We got a dead Blackblade Kindred in the top right for Free. We got a dead Putrescent Knight in the bottom left for Kuiper.
60 seconds left in the half, so Ragnar's going to be able to get at the very least into this Moose Jr. fight. And again, any boss fight that is in progress, the players get to complete. But if you're not in a boss fight when halftime hits in 40 seconds, then you just got to pause the game and you'll have to continue after the break. Let's see here on the bottom right screen, Ragnoth heading in here is likely going to be our last boss battle. Before we head into break time here, as we have 20 seconds left, and it is. I didn't get a chance because we're out of there.
Yeah, I didn't see what I thought I saw something spirit, but I don't know what the boss was.
I did not see it.
I think Rag's going to elect to say, I'm just going to wait until afterwards.
3, 2, 1. Halftime. Okay, there we go.
Halftime, it is.
Everybody is on the break screen, and we're going to go ahead and get our runners back into the commentary booth here as we can, chat a little bit about our first half. So looking at the scoreboard here at halftime, in first place, we have Kuiper with 23 bosses killed for a grand total of 108 points. Free Shooter only 10 points behind with 22 bosses killed at 98 points. Ragnoff, 21 bosses killed with 80 points, and Derpy, 15 bosses killed worth a total of 75 points. Kuiper coming in to halftime here in first place. How are you feeling about, some of these big pickups that you've had in the first half?
I was going to say, man, it's unfortunate that nothing exciting happened in the first 15 minutes. It's not like we called out like 5 of the hardest bosses in the game in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, we had Consort Radon Phase 1. We had Melania. What else did we have early on?
Shadow Tree Avatar.
Yep.
Yeah, we've already killed Gaius. We've killed Putrescent Knight right there. A bunch of different dragons have gone down. I believe you took out the Crucible Knight duo early on. I was like, it was one of those where, and I like to pull back the curtain. This was not planned out. I was like, oh my God, already so many of the heavy hitters have been taken out. We've seen Mesmer Phase 2. Obviously, the big point getter that is still out there in the pool, we hope, but we don't know. We genuinely just gendeseed and threw it out there. Soldier of Godric has not been found, worth 20 points. Could help anyone get back or at least get close to the lead right now. My God. But yeah, Kuiper, how do you feel about your lead?
I think it's fine to say this now. We agreed prior to this that all 4 of us were gonna fight the Tree Sentinel no matter what it was.
Okay.
And loading in, we were all just kind of like, dude, what if it's like Melania?
Right.
and we're all just there +0 fighting Melania for 5 minutes. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to take the northwest Limgrave route in killing Margit, just because Margit gets you 12,000 runes, gets you a lot of money. But when I beat them all to the Tree Sentinel, I was kind of like, okay, I feel like because I called it out pretty quickly, I was like, I wonder if like Rag is just gonna like go there like super, super quick. So I kind of like maybe metagamed myself away from it. And I was like, I'm gonna grab the Stormhill Grace and then I'm gonna like go get to like +10 or whatever I could get to, right, with like how few souls I had. And then at that point, he had called out Stormhill Everjail. And I was like, all right, yeah, he's like on the way to Margit. I have to abandon that. I can't do that. And then PCR was standing there. And
one little gift.
Yeah, that wasn't. And I also got slope memed at one point when he fell off the edge. And like his attack animation got canceled. And I was like, that's cool. But yeah, the big thing I think with this weapon has been like, and I'm assuming the two of you have called it that, the weapon art R2, so many of the bosses I have fought have been in water. And for those that don't know, a mechanic in Elden Ring is lightning weapons deal more damage in water. So I immediately was like, oh, well, I should go do like Central Lernia too, because those bosses are standing in water. And it definitely helped because the damage output with this thing is really, really good.
We'll continue to just go down the list here of the order. Yeah, only 10 points behind with one less boss killed. Free at 98 points. Free, I love watching the Wing of Astel blow things up, even when they're in high-scaled areas, like you are with Dragon Barrow.
Oh, yeah. The weapon's a ton of fun. It did almost screw me a little at the start because I kind of forgot it's not amazing unupgraded. So when I went straight into Kaled, to try and get enough runes to upgrade my weapon. I was not doing a lot of damage, and it doesn't do a lot of poise damage outside of the R2. It doesn't do a lot of the micro stackers. So you saw me kind of going on the Leon and Misbegotten and then immediately abandon that, because if you can't micro stagger those guys, they are annoying. Luckily,
big issue.
Yeah. Luckily, I'd found the club and sacred blade basically immediately, so that bailed me out a little on the Agil, because you can just they're one of the bosses where you have the poise values with certain weapons memorized. So 3 charged R2s just staggers dragons every time with hammer weapons. So you could just club him down, get a little extra base damage with the sacred blade, and got a little bailed out. But yeah, then had the clean line up to Altus, and now it's just trying to find bosses.
Right. I, as a longtime caveman fan of playing Souls games, I loved seeing the club, my boy, get some love there early on.
It's a great weapon.
Going further down, Ragnoth in 3rd place with 80 points. And Ragnoth, I know you saw this.
Yep.
There was a stretch of time at the beginning. You had killed 9 bosses.
Yep.
You had 20 points.
I sure did, buddy. I sure did.
I was like, man, I feel like I haven't called out a lot for Ragnar. I was like, he's only found dollar menu item bosses for the first 20 minutes of this race.
Yeah,
I've gotten a few good ones now
in the race, averaging about 3.9 points per boss, which is the lowest of the field. So I'm pulling for you for the second half to run into some more high value targets here.
We can only hope.
My goodness. Yeah. And I also want to point out, there's been so many times where I've seen you go into an area and I'm like, oh, yeah, this boss has a bunch of trash mobs. The weapon are the wind AoE there. For you getting the 4th pick in the draft, that weapon looked sick.
Yeah, it's not bad. The only problem with it is it does have innate faith scaling, so I'm not getting the best damage out of it, and the weapon art only scales off of faith, I believe. But the base damage of the weapon is fantastic, and it's a curved greatsword, so it has a really good moveset. Very fast, so it can fight NPCs. Like, you can stun lock NPCs with its R1s, for instance. Just a solid weapon class, so I didn't feel bad picking it.
Yeah. And finally, we go over to Derpy with 75 points. And Derpy, I think the biggest thing we have to focus on, asking you right now, what was, because I know the other night when I was last with y'all on a call, Melania popped up for you in a super nasty spot. What was your heart pounding like when you found her there that early on?
Oh, I was extremely nervous, because also that location, that north Knight's Cave, is a contested spot in a lot of our races. So I was, worried when I saw her, knowing I needed to not mess up on the hardest boss in the game. And then you also have the enemies there, and the just random pillars in the way that can mess you up.
One of them almost got you.
One of them did, and it caused me to rot in 2nd phase, which was very fun. But I'm very happy, and honestly, the tilting of the other night when she popped up down in Siluria when I had to fight her with Starfist definitely helped, because I knew a bit more of how to fight her with that close of a...
With a fist-based weapon,
Yeah.
Because I generally, like, the fist weapons, they're great. Starfist, Iron Balls, the Poison Hand, they are a rough matchup for Melania. Yeah. Or rather, she is a rough matchup for them.
But yeah, and then
all popped off super hard when he killed her.
Let's
go. Oh.
Yeah, but
like you said, that
info into her was such a good start.
Yes.
And then it was falling in the tunnel in Volcano and just committing to a lot of runs. And so I've not killed a lot of bosses so far. So that's been fun. That's been fun. But yeah.
Yeah, but you are keeping pace, because you do have the highest average boss worth of the bosses that you've killed so far.
I just keep running into dragons. It's great.
They just take forever to kill. But I do want to, commend you all on the camaraderie. Although we're in a competition here, it's really fun to see, everybody like rooting each other on when you're going through and taking on a tough boss, because this game, even for the best of the best, people who speedrun this game every single day, do randomizers every single day, the game's hard. And there are bosses, depending on where they show up, it's hard, and it never really becomes super easy or just automatic by any means. But this has been an incredible first half. There are only 53 bosses left. Like, you all have been crushing through this. Maybe even get an entire full clear tonight of every single boss that we have available in our, segmented pool, excluding a couple areas, which again, pin message in the chat. You can go ahead and click and follow along and look at the map and see what bosses remain, who has what. And it's going to be a really exciting second half, I think. But with that, we're going to go into Welcome back from the break, everybody. Welcome back to Game Masters right here on the GDQ Hotfix. I am your host, Kiara_TV. And did you know that GDQ will return to PAX East from March 26th through the 29th? You can visit east.paxsite.com to find out more about the show. Use !PAX in Twitch chat for more info. And also with Frost Fatales 2026 finishing up at the start of the month, if you have any feedback you'd like to give about the Fatales event, visit gdq.gg/ffsurvey to submit your feedback. I am joined once again by the legendary Spike Vegeta as we are watching this wonderful 4-player lockouts randomizer boss rush in Elden Ring. It's a lot. We have 53 bosses unclaimed. And Spike, let's go ahead and give like a quick overview here of what we've done so far, what bosses remain for those just joining us.
Yeah, for the most part, our players are actually on the best pace they've ever been on in these. They've already got it down to they've killed 81 bosses, it looks like, between the 4 of them. There are only 53 unclaimed. Now, a lot of them are going to be the slower bosses. As you would imagine, there's a lot more dungeons they have to go through, catacombs and whatnot to find them. But we've got still a smattering of bosses all over Dragon Barrow and Caelid here on the side. So you're going to see potentially a lot of players moving into there. They all have at least one circle, one boss from this area. So any of them could play back into there, claim any of those bosses. You still actually have a decent amount even in Limgrave. Like the spread of bosses that are still available on this map are kind of all over the place. So it's equal access that any players could get to them. Only 3 left down in Australia. Again, the Weeping Peninsula. Kuiper has claimed every single boss down there. Will he get a full-on Monopoly? That was always my strategy in Risk. Although that's Risk, not Monopoly. I loved to hole up down in Australia. It was great. Quite a few bosses still left in Lernia. Mostly it has been Derpy and Kuiper in there. It's actually exclusively been them. And up here in Altus Plateau and Mount Gelmir, definitely the juiciest spot left on the map. I'll be interested to see if Kuiper reaches a point where he might have access to none of these, because he's the only one that has not played to up in this area, and that might cut him off big time. Finally, looking at the underground section, scrolling in right here, it has pretty much been the Ragnoth showdown here. He's only got 4 bosses left down here, including one that he just looked at, the Moose Jr., the Ancestor Spirit. He's potentially going to claim this whole thing and go for his own Monopoly. But again, the players are doing an amazing job. They are flying through this map, fastest I've ever seen them move through it.
Yeah, and to remind those of you who are maybe just joining us, the way this works, this is a lockout boss rush. As soon as one boss has been killed, it has to be communicated and claimed, so nobody else can go and kill that boss for points. So there's no worth doing it unless it gives you access to other areas you want to be at. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start second half here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. We're going to send our runners off back into the world of the lands between, and we'll see how the second half pans out and who can come home with the trophy. Metaphorical trophy. I do not have a physical trophy to mail out to our victor, but that would be cool.
Oh, it is Rick. Ragnoth has seen him. I'm so glad you and I did not process what that was. Oh my goodness. This is immediately going to boost Ragnoth up into second place, only 8 points behind Kuiper. Boy, we were just talking about it at halftime, how Ragnoth has been stuck down with all these terrible value bosses. But look here. Oh my God. He was trying to go for the parry. Oh my God, what an absolute legend. Bring
he
it,
doesn't
buddy,
need
bring
to do
it.
this, but he wants to finish and get these 20 points in his house. There it is.
Yes!
Rick going down just like that. 20 points on the board.
We
the most
love
valuable
that
boss in these rules.
That was one of my only, when I initially had the idea for the settings, I was like, dog, what if Rick was 20 points? hear me out here. Now, with that, again, absolutely massive for Ragnoth. Puts him in second place, only 8 points behind Kuiper. I guarantee you, everybody in the call is just LMAOing right now over that find right before halftime. And Ragnoth that entire half was like, tee, I've got it.
Hit it well
yeah,
from
I'm so
us.
glad he let us know.
Coming up here, attention to the top left, Derpy here, taking out the God-Devouring Serpent, and then it goes into a Rykard. There's another 2-pack of bosses. Our first one here being another Falling Star Beast. Still making use of that poison weapon here. Should have this over soon. We'll see what phase 2 is. Again, when any of these big double phase bosses, we're gonna get 2 random bosses here. So there's number 1. The Falling Star Beast is down. And number 2, we've got Placidusax here for Derpy.
Yeah, honestly, for Derpy, like, this, in some ways, is a rough draw, but, like, Derpy definitely needs the points right now. This would be, I believe we have Placidusax as one of our standard highest value bosses at 10 full points. This is the boss. Anyone who's fought him in the base game, they know this dude loves to waste your time and is very easy to die to. So he's got the Falling Star Beast into this. This is like 14, 15 points for Derpy potentially on the line to get him also into the race, while Free is able to take out a Bell-Bearing Hunter to slip past Ragnoth. The back and forth, only 8 points separate our top 3 players in Kuiper, Free, and Ragnoth. Kuiper trying to make his way up the Divine Tower of Caelid. Trying to go for a little bit of a skip right here. I actually didn't even know this was a variant. Oh, it is. With that, able to make his way all the way down to the boss.
Doing some arm exercises, making sure he's ready to swing that axe as hard as possible. That's what you gotta do. But imagine in this game, you know, they make it so you do that and your stats go up over time, you know. That's the style.
Your strength stat just goes up just that little bit.
All right, half HP for Placidusax. And Kuiper is finding Goskin Godfrey here. This is another good one.
Yeah, this is another solid point getter, and it's also going to be extra good for him because we really did not see it in the first half. Nobody was really like competing against each other for bosses. This is going to be assuming Kuiper's able to get the kill, which not an easy kill. This is Dragon Barrow.
Yeah, look at this.
This
if
can
he doesn't
block and waste time for Ragnoth.
Yeah, Ragnoth climbing the tower as well, but, you know, Godfrey, high-skilled area. Look, it's just a sliver of HP for Kuiper. So, again, Ragnoth does not know that Kuiper is also here, so it's going to be disappointing because this is a pain in the butt to get to. But as, you know, we've killed most of the easy, accessible bosses, you're going to have to start going in and doing all this. But, you know, potentially the longer it takes Kuiper to do this, as long as he doesn't die, you know, Ragnoth is just losing time here if he does not get the snipe.
But again, this is a dieable 2 boss.
Yes.
Yep, that's right. That's how I phrase that. Yeah. So if you're rooting for Ragnoth, you're like, dude, Kuiper either needs to die or he needs to like kill this boss quickly. He's not killing it quickly, I can say that.
Ooh,
it is just a chunky health bar.
Scary.
Yep.
Okay, getting a chug in there, but running low on juice. Meanwhile, Derpy, quick update on the Placidusax fight. You know, that's exactly what we're talking about. Placidusax loves to waste your time. Getting hit by the fire, this is dangerous for Derpy. It has two chugs left.
Drinks. Yeah, he's electing
to just before he gets off.
Yeah, I think this is good.
Oh, come on, buddy. You got it. You should be fine. That's Placidusax dead.
All right, let's go, Derpy. Absolutely ran out of all of it.
Yeah, and here we go.
Looks like able to clutch it out. Man, that hurts Ragnoth.
Yep, and Ragnoth's just going to have to get out of here because there's no reason to be down here any longer now that Kuiper has taken the kill. There we go. Up to the map, thinking about where do I go next. That was a tough investment for Ragnoth there, that they happen to be going for the same spot. So 3 players now in Caelid, everybody except Derpy.
Yeah, Derpy able to get the kill. We'll see where he likes to go. Yeah, and he's going to like to continue back over at Pride Rock. Mount Gelmir, that is an area that is mostly unclaimed other than Derpy. I think this is a good just play into this at this point. This is where here in the second half, especially once we're under 50 bosses left, you're looking at where are the areas I have established anything. Let's go play back towards there. But what's so unique about this map and this race is, like I said, there was kind of bosses in a way everywhere that people could still go to, that they all had like equal access to. So that was the first time I said, at some point, these players are going to snipe each other. That's the first one we genuinely saw. That is a lot of time investment for Ragnoth. He definitely still feels good that he was able to find Rick, get that big 20 points, but definitely hurts that that's not the quickest boss to get to in the Divine Tower of Caelid. Meanwhile, we have got Free Shooter taking on another one of the Falling Star Beasts.
Look at the damage there for the Wing of Steel. Not only getting the big hits, but the stagger as well. Going in right to the face. Oh, big, huge damage. And we'll see with one more while it's stunned to hopefully take the full brunt of the AoE. This is the fastest I've seen him take down the Falling Star Beast so far. This is a great strat. Great weapon for this.
Yeah, my next playthrough, I'm busting out the Wing of Astel. I hate to feel how good this one is. That's a great thing about Elden Ring. There's just hundreds and hundreds of weapons that you can mess with. And Wing of Astel, definitely one of the more popular ones. Able to take down that Falling Star Beast in a very high-scaled area that normally would be a very chunky health bar.
Here's our final Dragonkin soldier for Kuiper. You know, there were 3.
Yep.
Killed 2 of them in the first half, and this is our final one.
Yeah, I do believe that is it. Meanwhile, you got Derpy while he's making his way up the Bloodborne section. All of the ladders you could ever ask for. Good to stop at that merchant and see what he's got. If nothing else, just pick up the stone sword key. Because I guarantee you, a lot of the bosses that are left are locked behind stone sword keys. You don't want to get to the end and realize all of a sudden, oh, I literally can't fight these.
We've got Garu here for Ragnoth. This is one of the more annoying NPC fights for me, but just crushing it with those parries. So as long as you can keep doing that, it should make quick work of the boss here. Kind of baiting out attack there. Huge punish window. Can easily get around for that backstab. Very abusable boss. As long as you dodge that tongue.
Yeah, and a most hilarious boss with that tongue attack.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And
one more
Gary
and able to get the kill. That's another one up in the Altus area. Still so many circles up in the Altus area. You also got over in the capital with both of the bosses down in the sewer section. Free definitely has the inside angle on getting to those if you want. Meanwhile, we have got Derpy again off that big double boss in Volcano Manor. Still trying to crack 100 points. Let's see what is up here in the crater. He has got a beast clergyman.
Okay.
I definitely think this can be one of the more annoying bosses in the game. He loves to just push away from you at all times. You really got to try to get up in his business to try to get those consistent hits.
He's also got a couple very quick follow-up attacks that you can't really just roll through.
Yep.
Loves to throw rocks at you. I think we're going to see the double. Yeah, right there. That attack right there. He just does a slash. Really annoying to get through. But still, the poison putting in work. Just, making sure, even though while it's running away, probably just going to die to a poison tick here. And there it is.
Yeah, that's another good point getter for Derpy.
Like, I don't care if you run away.
Yeah.
We got a Deathrite Bird for a free shooter. These are worth a nice amount. I think 7 points for these guys. 5.
These might only be 4 or 5. What's good is he busted back out the club, gave it that holy buff. The Deathbirds are some of the only bosses in the game that take a ton of damage to holy-based weapons. This is actually a really nice little string of bosses that he's playing towards right now, because you got that boss, and you can jump off the cliffside, and there's these little catacombs over here with not one, but 2 bosses because of a hidden variant inside of here. This is a really nice little pack of them as I scroll down here on the map in this kind of northeast section of Lernia, which that was actually the first boss that Free had even killed in this area. Gamers, we're already coming up on only 40 bosses left in the whole thing. And we've got two of them on screen right now. We have got Moog, and that is Big Daddy mode. You can tell because he's doing the hee attack. Now, Kuiper doesn't have the kind of build I think would be able, unless he can get a big stagger somewhere. Yeah, he's already done two of the hee. Oh, big stagger. That's what he needed to see. Can he maybe get him with the big charge? I think this is possible.
Oh, in style.
Very nice. Takes the Scarlet Rod, but gets the kill. That's going to be big for Kuiper. Again, still maintaining our lead. Up in top left, we have our next Bell-Bearing Hunter. We've only seen two of these so far, considering there's a fair amount of them. And is this one? Oh, it is not
Elmer
just
Fudd.
Bell-Bearing. It is the Bell-Bearing Hunter. It is Elmer Fudd himself, Elmer of the Briar. Normally in Castle Stinky, like you were pointing out earlier.
Yeah, Castle Stinky,
Ooh,
Derpy
nice
still has
roll.
access to it, so activated that grace and nobody's been back there. Again, it's quite an annoying one to get to, but I imagine as we clean up Mount Gilney here, that Derpy's going to head back in there soon enough. Especially now that Derpy knows Ragnoth just taking out that Stone Digger Troll in that old Altus Tunnel, is heading that direction and could choose to go in there and take out the boss in the Shaded Castle.
100%. We have got Free to his first of two bosses in here. This potentially, if he's got a decent spread, and this is a good one with Loretta. Love getting her in that corner, and then she just eats all of that explosion damage off of Nebulous from the Wing of Astel. So with that, depending on what this boss is, Free could, for the first time, be in the lead tonight.
It's a 3-point game between the two.
And electing to Mog or actually Memory of Grace thing. Yeah, I forget what it's called. Doesn't matter.
Memory of Grace, I believe, is what it is.
It's Memory of Grace. Okay, yeah. That's what it is. Able to open up the switch, and then it's a little faster just to Mog out, go to the start of the dungeon, and then walk your way down to the boss. Because at this point, a lot of the runes they're not necessarily going to care about, especially in these lower scaled areas. Let's see what his second boss is. Can Free take the lead? And it is nope. This is not going to do it. This is a fat 1-pointer. Sorry, buddy. You can see why it's only worth 1 point.
Yes.
The other snail to note is much scarier to run into because it doesn't have just a little Siluria. It is tied behind. You have to kill not one, but two Godskin fights. Very long fight. I believe we do have it as 10 points, but that is going to get him once again in striking range. I called him out earlier. Now we actually have it. We have Lanziax for Ragnoth, another big dragon. Fun fact, these big dragons, Lanziax, Senesax, and whatnot, they're like the only bosses in the game. You can't stagger them. You can't riposte them. Just no matter what you do, you just got to chop down that big redwood.
And they're made of rock, so that's even harder.
Yup.
That petrified wood. Yeah.
There it is. Man, love these bit. Ragnoth, he likes that vigor stat being real. I like when that red bar is halfway across the screen. That's a man who knows his priorities. I'm the idiot when I play video games. I don't know about you, Kiara, who I'm like, man, just give me a bigger attack stat. I don't need health. I just gotta kill the boss faster. That's fine.
Yeah, Elden
Ring, big red bars are good.
Yeah, for Bonanza, which I played through recently, I did not upgrade my health at all until I wanted to damage boost through a whole bunch of poison. So take that as you will.
That is the standard playthrough, I think, for a lot of people, is they're like, oh, I don't need this. This is a game for babies. And then you see one poison, you're like, I'm going to upgrade to health. 3 healths, I'm over it. Another big kill there for Ragnoth on Lanziax, getting him to 116. It is still very, very tight. I was going to say with the top 3, but Derpy now has crossed over 100 points. He is now at 107 and now making his way over to somewhere.
Yeah,
I should think of where he's going to.
With that tree Sentinel defeated by Free, we're now down to a 2-point game. Kuiper's still in first place, 127 points. Free now 2 points behind at 125. Well, I think we may see a lead change here soon, but
very, very soon, potentially. We are currently, gamers, also, we're under 45 minutes left in the race, but I don't know if that 2-hour timer is going to mean much. They're already down to only 33 bosses left in the pool. This is what Derpy's doing. This actually gives you a convenient little warp over to affectionately known as the Turtle Pope. Which is where one more boss is. Kuiper going for the Soldier of Godric position. Unfortunately, it is yet another railroad. It's another Knight's Cav. That's only getting him a few more points. Free has come close so many times. Will this be the one that puts him in the league? And you were calling it out, Kiara. We're in Castle Stinky in bottom right.
Yep. So even though Derpy had that grace, looks like Ragnoth's going to be the first over there. And I don't think Derpy's going to even try, or is even on his radar right now to even consider it.
Yep.
The Turtle
Again,
Pope,
what
though.
I love...
There it is.
That's all that needs to be on your radar. Ooh, Ragnoth will let you take the quit out right there to reset the aggro. The nice thing about the quit outs is there is a certain amount of committal because this is a real-time race. So you have to say, like, you can't just quit out everywhere. You're going to slowly but surely give time back. You got to make sure they're really intelligent placements of them.
Ragnar getting trolled here a little bit, has to go all the way out of his way to take care of this flower that was just stopping him. All these ranged enemies just saying, nope. Taking death.
Castle Stinky indeed.
It is being toxic in more ways than one tonight.
Yeah, this is good you used it this time. I was using it way too much. I said it like 14 times in the first 15 minutes of the race. Thank you.
Oh, we got an NPC fight for free here.
Emir. Emir is an annoying boss that you can fight in the DLC just because he monologues forever. Now finally Derpy can start punching him. Yeah, now that he's done monologuing, it shouldn't take too much longer. All right, he's dead.
All right. But Kuiper finding the fire giants down here. That's a big pickup. So even though I believe this is enough to... Is this enough to tie the game?
Free's gonna get put in the lead because that's Solitary Jail Knight. That happened to be in a lower scaled area, but that boss, that is my canon boss fight. That dude sucks. He does a ridiculous amount of damage, especially wherever you fight him early in the DLC. Very, very mean find early on. We are officially down to 30 bosses left in the pool, gamers. We're going to be looking to potentially take the lead back right now, only down 5 points to Free. And Ragnoth with only a 5-point lead over Derpy for third place. Derpy making his way over to another very short catacomb here in Limgrave.
Fire Giant, another one of those bosses that loves to waste your time.
Castle Stinky, yup. Yeah, especially with his foot, he's going to take way more damage on that left foot of his, and he keeps pushing it out of bounds. So it's still going to be like good point value for sure for Kuiper where he found him. And yeah, that is going to put Kuiper, at least for now, back in the lead. It is truly back and forth. Fire Giant Phase 1 found.
Ragnoth in the bottom right taking no chances here, clearing out the enemies and then also doing a save quit to de-aggro the rest just to climb this ladder.
Yeah, very unfortunate on Ragnoth's side. Hopefully he's going to be able to get up it without any of the enemies messing with him too much, but this flower is gonna try its darndest. He's going all the way back down. Big if you're Derpy to at least get back into third place right now. It started off beautiful Ragnoth here in the second half, finding Rick, but since then, Castle Stinky has truly been stinky. Can Derpy take back third place? And he is not going to with that.
Not with the solo Crystalline. We got the Dancer.
Yeah, this is going to be a real quick
even
1 pointer. Yeah.
just explodes into a million pieces.
Literally, yeah.
It's a very satisfying kill animation. Free Shooter also just finding the solo watchdog.
Not going to take first off of this. Yep, just the solo watchdog.
Yeah, this is definitely the fastest I've seen.
Over in Caled.
any of these 4 players, like during any of these practice runs, take out all these bosses. This is really impressive. Like just showing how far they've come.
It's so fun watching as you learn, because you first start off doing these, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'll kind of go around and do my bosses. And then you slowly learn how to metagame off the people you play with, and they've literally played against each other, like, unironically, like 30 times now. They've done these boss hunters together. And they slowly just start to learn, like, they know where each other are. They're skipping over Sights of Grace because they say, I don't want X player, like Derpy's thinking, I don't want Free to snipe me over here. I need to get to this boss first. The mind games of these sorts of settings get more and more fun the more you play and the more you play with others. I'm honestly kind of hoping after we showcase this here, we can also get others to learn about it and start playing it as well. Especially a lot of the more dedicated Souls nerds. Ooh, Kuiper going for the Boardwalk and Park Place of Lord of Blood. He's already taken out Big Moog. This one's going to be a little easier. Only Sewer Moog. He doesn't do the little That's going to be back down in Australia. Only 2 boss locations left down here for Kuiper. Let's see if he likes to go for them both right now. He is electing not to. In top right, we have got Free right now going down in the sewers. 2 bosses down here. And Fire Giant Phase 2 for Derpy.
Yeah, up here at the isolated merchant shack.
Oh man, this is 10 points, but this is also a bigger.
Wait, is this not the actual? Yeah, what's up?
Well, no, I was just. Are you seeing this? I thought he had broken the AI. He was just smacking Fire Giant's foot there over and over and over again.
Maybe.
The
Let's see.
AI
Yeah.
might have broken for. Dude, Derpy takes this. Derpy loves this.
Oh, yep. Just going to get here and staggered.
Repose.
Nothing is going to do. 10 points for Derpy.
This will happen to the AI. Derpy's just like, dude, please die before you realize what's happening to you. And there goes that. And now punch this. Taking massive damage to the eye. This is really good, especially because it's in Dragon Barrow. Again, scrolling back down here on the map over here. Yeah, this is a very high-skilled area. If he was actually fighting him, that would have been a very difficult fight. But Derpy's going to take it and go into 3rd place off that legend feld. What a legendary AI break. Oh, my goodness.
And look at this here. Ragnoth, I think, is headed towards the sewers as well here. I'm not sure what else would be doing in the capital at this point.
Yeah, this
unaware.
Is the only thing.
Unaware that Free Shooter is already in there. This is really unfortunate for Ragnoth. You know, we saw earlier on following Kuiper into the Tower of Caelid, a really, really long boss fight, and now heading into the subterranean shunning grounds after Free Shooter has already been down here for ages. So though
now the only thing about this is there are 2 bosses down here. So if Free can get this boss kill quick enough, then Ragnoth can potentially option to the Esger position. Really cool skip right there from Free in order to jump into the cage and skip literally the last like 2/3 of this very annoying sewer section. The only problem for Rag is he almost wishes Free. Again, it's really unfortunate timing. Like, Kuiper didn't kill the Godfrey boss in the Divine Tower of Caelid fast enough. So Rag had to dedicate, like, maximum time before he knew. He was literally on the elevator going down to that boss. And now it's potentially the same sort of issue. You've even got Free right here. He doesn't know he's doing this, but he's leveling up. He's doing all this stuff. He had to quit out on the boss skip at one point. You're letting Rag get deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole before he more than likely is going to find out, oh, well, I have to change my options. Meanwhile, top left, Derpy's fighting one of his canon bosses. He's fighting the moose. Derpy loves seeing the moose.
I know how much
is one of his
you
favorite
love
bosses.
This guy. Yeah.
Dude, this guy sucks.
Favorite boss, that was Spike Vegeta.
He is healing again. I fought him in a high-scaled area once. I watched him heal not once, not twice, 5 times on me. Very cool.
Yeah, I remember when I fought him where the Godskin duo shows up in Fair Maslow. That was my experience. Just heal, 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 heal. The ultimate staller. But that's a specific version. That's the big moose. The small moose doesn't do that.
Yeah, thank God.
Bell-bearing hunter here for free shooter. I feel like we're running out of these guys. This is another one in like the nice cavalry that just seems to show up everywhere. And also one of those night-only bosses. I guess the bosses only show up at night. They just wanted to put them everywhere so someone would run into them.
Ooh, I wonder, so Rag did option out of, maybe he dropped something down in the sewers. He didn't end up dedicating too much time to it. So I'm not sure if there was maybe some information in the call he picked up on what one of them said. But either way, he's taking that early Margit kill. We'll scroll back over here to Limgrave and says, I also want Godric the Grafted. We're kind of reaching that point. We're about to be down to only 20 bosses left in the pool. We're coming up on the start of the 4th quarter. Either way, he did get the full confirmation from Free right there, off of calling that he killed the sewer Moog position, leaving the Esger boss fight down in the sewers as well. Looking around on the map, we've only got 3 bosses, it looks like, left in all of Caelid. None of them are there. In Weeping Peninsula, we got 1 boss left all the way down at the far south point of the map in Castle Morn. Limgrave, we got 1 boss left over here. The Bell-bearing hunter, man, none of them have killed that. That's interesting.
We also have the 3 bosses in the underground, the Dragonkin soldier locations, as well as all the way past the Lake of Rot to get to where the Estelle normally is. Typically, you know, those bosses, they take ages to go through. That's probably one of the slowest sections of the entire section of the game we're playing to go through there. So. And that's really, you know, Ragnath has no reason to go down there right now because there's still a whole bunch of competition available for bosses rather than going to something that's assuredly his should he decide to go there. So at this point, save the safe stuff for later. Get the competitive stuff that you can snipe right now.
See what lands in his Godric position. He definitely is in a spot where he needs to see some higher scaled enemies, and this is not going to be it. Just the single Clean Rot Knight. Let's give him a couple of points. Won't even be able to get him back up to Derpy for 3rd place. Ragnaroth, outside of that Godric and a few other spots, has mostly gotten hosed. Just not a lot of good boss points. But again, that's the randomizer aspect to this. You never know what you're going to run into.
Indeed. Your route can be perfect, your play can be perfect, but, you know, there's a chance that you just don't run into the high-value bosses like we're seeing here with Ragnaroth. Though, you know, I'm still very happy that Ragnaroth pulled Rick. So to at least get him back on the map.
I'm sure he's very happy he pulled the Rick as well. You got up here in the Ariza side tomb, a couple of the bosses at the base, kind of right to the side of the capital that Free's playing towards.
Oh, and Ragnaroth going through my favorite dungeon, the War Dead Catacombs, all the way, bottom right of the screen here. You have to go all the way across Radahn's arena, the boss arena that takes up like 1/4 of the Caelid play area, just to reach this dungeon and then go through the dungeon. This is something you only see in the second half. This is not an early place you want to go to.
No. Kuiper further establishing himself in 1st place, working towards one of these bosses here, I believe, in Lernia. And you've got just another Deathbird for Free. One boss I will say, again, he does have that sacred infused club, so doing a ton of damage to the Deathbird. He found another one of the best weapons in the game, the Alabaster's Lord Sword. I can't fully describe what makes it so OP, but I think it's something with like how its stamina works. you love just tap R2s on it. You never want to press the R1 button. It feels slightly broken in how little stamina it uses up to use its R2s, and you can just R2 everything to death. It's very, very
the attacks
effective.
come out fast, and you could just spam them forever. They do a lot of poise damage, so most bosses you could just like keep staggering, just tapping that R2 all day. If you couple it with like any sort of stamina recovering equipment, and it just recovers so fast. Another apostle here for Kuiper. Is this bleeding white? Is it bleeding white?
It's bleeding white.
All right.
Dude, Kuiper loves to see. Oh, wait, no, it did not bleed white.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was about to find a very high value boss. Because you're always
snail.
looking for that potential, the snail that calls on the two godskins. Either way, decent points for Kuiper right now. Just looking to maintain that lead. As slowly but surely, we're just running out of bosses. There's only 16 bosses left in the entire pool. He can potentially just let between the four of them. Yo, that was a terrible enemy in that little window right there for Ragnoth, charging into him. But he is, thankfully, near the end of the War Dead Catacombs. Just have to run over to his boss. But yeah, Kuiper just wants to see between the four players, they can just sort of suffocate out the whole thing, and Kuiper to potentially take the lead. As Kuiper is making his way down to that far south point, gonna complete his monopoly, more than likely, of Australia. I'm trying to think if Kuiper has much of an angle on most other bosses.
There's a couple spots in Caelid and Limgrave that are open that I imagine Kuiper's going to hit up next. We've got the bell-bearing hunter at the War Master Shack, as you mentioned, that has been unclaimed. And we also have the jail cave, Frenzied Duelist. Kuiper does have a side of grace close to that he could option to go for after Castle Morn. We got the Putrid Sorceress and Monk.
Yeah, this is actually an underrated, annoying fight because they have a lot of range to them. Closing the gap can be a little tough with them. They can definitely, in addition to just being a duo boss, these get more points than you would think. We got a big old dragon here on free screen.
And we got that Alabaster's Lord's Pulse. Just look at the stamina here on the top. Well, look at top right of your screen. Look at that stamina bar as all these R2s are going. You can see just a little bit of stamina.
Yeah.
Most R2s will chunk a
bit.
third of your stamina bar. This is nothing. And you can see how much stagger, how much poise damage that's doing to just knock this dragon down like it's nothing.
Stamina management is definitely an underappreciated thing, especially for newer Souls players getting into it. The fact that you have to dedicate such a small amount of stamina to do those big charged R2s and staggering them is very, very overpowered. Now, another thing that's overpowered are dragons. Fighting them in these little arenas. Yeah, you just kind of had to wait for them to come back.
Nice headshot.
Yeah, nice snipe right there. Ow.
Yeah,
the
heck that air. Slice that air in half. Good
Yeah, dude. Meanwhile, Ragnoth's saying, I've got a lot of the stuff I want. I'm going underground. At this point, Ragnoth might be going to get these three bosses and say, I'm calling it a day. Kuiper with a 9-point lead. If you're free right now, you're the only one who can realistically catch him. You'd run into something big. But Derpy walking in, going to be fighting another one of the NPC bosses. All of the NPC bosses that come from the DLC, they all can waste a ton of time. So all of them, I think, are a good, 7, 8, 9 points. You wouldn't think these would be some of the harder bosses in the game, but they can be pretty gross to fight.
Indeed.
Kuiper nearing the end of Castle Morn.
Trying to get a preview here. That is a bear. I didn't see if it was the big bear or not, but it is a bear of sorts.
Oh, yeah, it is one of the two red bear variants from the DLC. Because there's only the one regular rune bear in the main game and the two red variants. Should be quick work for Kuiper. Yeah, this is cool, gamers. Unless there is some catastrophic boss locations, we're gonna get this. This isn't just a full clear because they've only full cleared once before. This is like a very fast full clear.
And not even
Another
for free.
kill for
Like,
Kuiper.
there's a lot of difficult bosses that they've had to chunk through.
Oh, yeah. All the big point getters. Nice from Derpy. Getting that. Another one up here, scrolling back up in the map. This is up in the Mount Gelmir area. The Kindred of Rot duo. Derpy with a lot of orange circles up here. You still got the Red Wolf in one of the Sainted Heroes graves. Those are generally some of the worst locations to go for. And the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, the Wyndham Catacombs is probably one of the last areas they will go to. It's a very slow mini dungeon.
Yeah, I imagine Makar is also going to be pretty late at this point.
Yeah, he is. Where is he? There he is right there.
Yep, one of our last
Yeah,
12 bosses.
Yeah, of the last 12 bosses, yo, Kuiper just letting himself take some chonky damage to this Mimic Tier. He was mean and took off the weapon before the Mimic Tier could do anything.
How rude.
Yeah, but this will only be 1 point for Kuiper. But man, he has established a pretty chunky lead here on the field. Had a lot of those good finds early on and really never stopped finding good bosses. With that, that is that Mimic Tier. That is officially a full clear of Australia and Limgrave. There's only 2 bosses left over on the right side for Caelid. Yeah, I'm having to scroll up to see where I need to focus on. I guess it's mostly some stuff up here in the Altus Plateau. 10 bosses are left in the game. They're all going to their worst locations at this point.
Yeah, and yeah, we see Ragnoth. There we go, heading into Noxtella for the chain of 3 bosses here. And there's no easy way to do this, Spike. Like, the way they're positioned, you kind of just have to backtrack. They don't chain together really easily. So we're seeing the first location here on the giant chair. This is such a cool arena. One of my favorite arenas in the game. Just see, I was like, who is this guy? I don't know. Why are all these, piled up guys here? Who knows? But who do we have? We got the Ancient Dragon Man.
He a dragon, he a man. Or is he a dragon man? That's right. Yeah, this one actually another like underrated, pretty tough fight. You fight him in the DLC, he hits very, very hard, especially with some of his dragon incantations. But he is in a low-scaled area. Ragnar's going to try to take him out. Couldn't quite prevent that heal.
Nice.
Anyway, that'll be decent points for Ragnoth. Still trying to potentially chase Derpy for that 3rd place, and Freeze slowed down a lot as well. I mean, all of them have slowed down. We're officially under 10 bosses left in the game. Yeah, let's go back over to the overworld. Oh, I somehow... what happened to the... Here, overworld. Oh, I must have clicked back. My badge. Yeah, you see Kuiper right now potentially just going to merchants to find stone sword keys. So you can think, where do I have to go based on the locations that are left? You got the Frenzied Duelist over here in Caelid that costs 2 stone sword keys to get into. And if I'm being honest right now, chat, they're probably at the point where the players know they're down to the last couple bosses. They want to get a full clear on the Hotfix show tonight. That would be pretty sick. So they're probably doing a little bit of coordinating back and forth, saying, all right, at this point, the race has maybe mostly been decided. Where do we have to go to get all these kills to make sure we have full cleared the map? We do have Godfrey, Gold-free, let's call him, for free. Gold-free for free.
And boom, done.
Boom.
Ragnar's still trucking through Noxtella.
Dude,
This is such a terrible spot. No difficulty seeing why this is one of our final 10 bosses, 2 of them down here.
Yeah.
We're almost through the difficult part, so Ragnar's going to head down this elevator and has to go through the Lake of Rot one way to hit the other Dragonkin soldier, then the other way to make his way down to the Estelle.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. The underground is one of those, once you establish that you are the underground guy, most people are not going to contest you on it. That is for you. But it's a lot of horseless running around in order to get to each of your bosses. So you really want to see those bosses have good payouts. And again, Ragnoth, outside, you take Rick out of the equation, Ragnoth's average points per boss has not been very good. But again, it's a randomizer. Can't control that. All right, Derpy, going into our 8th to last boss, we have got our last bell-bearing hunter. This is the 4th and final one.
Baiting out that shield attack. If you can keep doing this over and over again, like Derpy's doing, you can just roll, get some free chunks in. Let's see. Nice stagger, and should be able to finish it off. Okay, not quite. These are bosses. They hit really hard, but they do have a limited set of moves. So once you learn like the 3 or 4 things they do, you can learn to bait out the shield bash attack. They can go down quite easily. But you mess up once, they could just take you out if you're in a high skilled area.
Check out for Ragnoth here. He's coming up on the boss here in the Lake of Rye. Looks like off to the side. Ooh. Wait, is that a 5th bell-bearing hunter? It is. So I'll point this out. There is one single boss that gets replaced in this. For the most part, it is a 1-for-1 on every boss that you find in the game. There's one Melania, supposed to be one Rick, etc., etc. I think a bell-bearing hunter got repeated because the only boss we take out of the pool is the invisible Black Knife Assassin, because that boss just sucks. And ooh, the bell-bearing hunter, it's like you just said, Kiara, for the other one. They hit pretty hard. And it's unfortunate it is in the arena where
nice
they
deflects.
are, I love Ragnoth's parries. They're so good. Every once in a while, he likes to make it a little Sekiro.
And again, I did not know you could parry these guys, so I'm going to have to go do this now.
Yeah, I always want to learn how to parry bosses in Elden Ring. I've never taken the time. Other than one training session where I learned how to parry the Knight's Cavalry, because you can knock them off the horse instantly with that. A lot of it is good knowledge of their different attacks. Rag's still on good pace here with the heals.
Yeah, the entire fight, it's better. You're fighting in the mud, in the rods. So you're getting that little chip damage the whole time. Unfortunately, also, top right, free shooter only running into a Knight's Cavalry here at this location. So it's going to be 2 points, not what he was looking for. Well, Kuiper is just, running through the gauntlet here of all these giant, larger-than-life enemies in these tight spaces, making it difficult to get through this dungeon and slowing them down just a bit. Now, Ragnoth here, bottom right, is going to take a death here because almost out of juice. Easier to do this and then run the other direction across the Lake of Rot to reach. Because normally there's like a whole bunch of these little pedestals that you can raise up, platforms to make your way across. But now you just run across, as we're going to see here. So we'll check back in on Ragnoth later. But going to be running for quite a while here through this lake.
Yeah. Let's review, because there are only 5 bosses left in the game. And it's about to be 4, as we have another Tree Sentinel found by Kuiper right here. And about to be 3, potentially, as we have, we have Goldfree. Derpy might have not noticed that this was called out and is missing out on it.
Yeah, unfortunate mistake there. Maybe enough for Ragnoth, depending on what's on his stell here, to have a comeback for 3rd place.
Yeah, might be able to snipe it there for 3rd. I wonder if this just got lost. Maybe we didn't track it exactly properly. But either way, let's say, because this was in the Wyndham Catacombs. Yeah, we already did hear Free Shooter call it out. I would assume, it did mark it. So our final 4 bosses, there is a boss in Castle Redmane that you would normally fight path. Like, you can kind of backtrack to it. So that honestly is inside angle that Ragnoth could go get it after Astel right here.
We got Makar.
We got Makar, who, has anyone worked over? I think Derpy is going to Makar right now. Derpy is going to Makar. We've got the Ancient Hero of Zamor in the Sainted Hero's Grave. That is also one that Ragnoth, actually, funnily enough, also has an inside angle on. Just because he killed the bosses that are right in front of them. Unless someone else has a Sight of Grace there, it's honestly a fair amount of hooping it to get over there. And then just this Astel spot. I won't bother clicking over to the underground. This is the last boss down here. So funny enough, for there only being 4 bosses left, 3 of them are Advantage Ragnoth. Which
yeah, and we have Derpy and Free both going to the Makar location here. So nice close race. Who's going to get there first? Who knows? Right now, Derpy is going to be the first to get to the main ladder, but we'll see how the movement goes.
They are actually very close. They're like seconds apart getting up here. So this absolutely could go.
Oh, and Ragnoth. This is great for Ragnoth finding Matir, the natural born of the void at the Astel location.
Yeah, I don't know how many points. Metter can suck. Like, especially if, again, it's a very, like almost all the DLC bosses, it's very position-based where you are. You try to hug on the side, then all those little fingers just go bring and just take you out right there.
Okay, I don't know what happened there with that repose, but that was cool.
Yeah, a little weird.
A little weird.
Oh, can he kill it before it gets up in the air? Yeah.
We're going to get the spin to win. Or, nope. Spin to win denied. Honestly, a great arena to fight Metter because it kind of is thematically appropriate.
Oh, and that is the death.
No!
Did Derpy get the Sight of Grace?
I don't know, but Derpy fell off the ladder.
And that officially ties Ragnoth and Derpy. A death for Kuiper right there. Oh yeah, if you're Derpy right now, that's your only play. You gotta go back. That ties up with Ragnoth and Derpy. So now look at this race on the bottom of your screen. Kuiper isn't playing for himself so much as he's trying to get Derpy to be able to still tie for third. They're both heading up there. Only one of them are gonna get this. Ragnoth has honestly been sniped multiple times tonight. Could he get sniped again? Again, this boss in Castle Redmane, only 3
getting
bosses
stuck
left.
stuck on the fence there, and Kuiper pulls a couple seconds ahead. This is great. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And then so guaranteed, unless something weird happens, the final boss in the pool, which it's probably a pretty high candidate for the worst boss location in our pool, is the Ancient Hero of Zamor in the Sainted Hero's Grave. It's a very involved dungeon where you have to like bait an enemy into a light source. You have to bait that enemy all the way across multiple rooms to get there. Very, very slow. And it makes sense. Will be the last one to go killed. Man, we have got 2 different races going on. Derpy unfortunately taking a death, not taking that safety Sight of Grace beforehand. And it is an unfortunate enemy that was at the bottom. We'll see if Derpy elects to. No, Derpy not taking the safety grace again.
Yeah, Free Shooter about to get to the point where Derpy feels. I'm curious what enemy was up there because he was knocked off, died to fall damage here. So I'm curious what enemy was up here that was kind of blocking the path.
It was a giant obnoxious hand.
Of course. There it is.
Yeah, now Derpy's like, I don't need a Sight of Grace. I'm just going to kill it. Which is smart because either way, you were probably going to feel like you had to kill it. Oh, man.
And looks like
Kuiper's going to be the first one to get there. Yep. He's elected to
slightly cleaner movement. And I think even with that Sight of Grace, still going to enter the boss arena first, though Ragnoth not far behind. But at this point, there's going to be a lower scale boss. They're both going to be able to chunk whatever it is down really quickly, and it is Neil. Oh,
okay. This honestly could go either way. It looks like Kuiper is electing to try to just rush. We'll see if Ragnoth elects to try to actually kill the boys.
Boys are almost down already.
Is able to. Yeah. I think Ragnoth just sniped third. I think he's got the inside angle on it.
Oh, and Free only finding the Beastmen up here. That's not going to be enough to take over Kuiper, but does give him the option of finding or getting to this other, the hero's grave here first.
Gamers, legitimately Free might snipe this on the final boss.
We don't know.
Because he has the inside angle. Look at this battle, though, for trying to get this. If you're Kuiper, you basically need to win.
Oh, the huge parry here for Ragnoth.
Yup. Oh, they're both staggered,
Kuiper answers with another big chunk. Oh, my goodness. I think Kuiper has this. There it is. Kuiper taking down Niall, and I think that's going to solidify it. No matter what shows up here, Free needed Ragnoth to take him out, but unfortunately...
I thought Rag was going to snipe him there after taking out the two boys first. And then I looked down after looking up at Free and said, how has Kuiper already killed this? Yeah, so now it's coming down to the only way, and I think we basically already determined we saw the boss that was duplicated. It's an 11-point lead for Kuiper. Either Melania, Shadow Tree Avatar, or the, what's it called? Or Soldier of Godric. Sorry, not what's it called. Your boy.
Your
the
boy
god
Rick.
himself.
Yes.
They would have had to get duplicated. Not to ruin any hype about this. I think he's already been, I think we've already seen the duplicate. Unless I'm misremembering how many bell-bearing hunters there are. Either way, we'll see. Going down, you will see why this is the last boss location.
Yep. Free shooter first in. Ragnoth about 15 seconds behind.
Ragnoth has been sniped so many times tonight. Derpy right now just saying it is not in my hands if I keep third place or not.
Let's go ahead and focus in on Free shooter's screen here on the top right. We head through the final dungeon of Regulation. That's all I'll say.
Right?
The final boss of Regulation.
We're actually not going to be too far under 2 hours because again, a lot of them were the slower bosses later on. And our other players are ready in case we need a little bit of overtime madness right here.
Oh, we're going in. Oh, they're ready.
All right.
So ready.
Kiara, of all the bosses you can think of left in the pool, who is this going to be?
You know, I really hope it's not a Knight's Cav because I think there's definitely one of those remaining.
Oh yeah, there's at least one left.
I am shooting for what I would like to see would be another Dancing Lion. So we saw the death one.
Oh yeah, we've seen one.
So we still have the one that's going to go through lightning. So I would love to see. But chat, get your guesses in. There's one boss left. We don't know what it is. We know what it can't be. But if you've been paying attention to all of, what do you think Free Shooter is going to come across here in the final boss of the race?
We have to note, only seen phase 1 of Promised Consort Radon. We have not seen the big baddie phase 2 or the literal big baddie, his base form. We have not seen the Elden Beast yet. There's some big bosses left. Mesmer phase 1, I know we haven't seen.
Yep, haven't seen phase 1.
Oh,
yeah, Ragnar took a death there. So
those
this is
little
be a free
lightning
shooter.
balls. Yeah, those nice. You put him to sleep as well. Those little lightning balls can be a big issue. You can see right here. This is what makes this dungeon so slow. You have to bait this duelist all the way up to the light source here, and if you get even slightly too far away, he de-aggros from you.
Yep. I don't think I ever did this one when I played. So.
Yeah,
that is kind of.
It's not. Oh my god!
Come on, buddy.
Oh my god! And then an enemy coming up. No, stop this! We need to know who you are. They have to touch this light source in order for you to damage them.
Come on, buddy.
Oh my God. Oh my
Here we go.
gosh. Dude,
There it is.
right now, Ragnar was like, oh, okay, also. Dude, if Ragnar didn't die, very realistically, he could have came back and took this. Both Derpy and Ragnar got blocked enough to where they just stayed tied for third.
It was funny because I just
All
fought
right,
those
now we
enemies
just
in
have to
Donkey Kong
walk through.
Bonanza, the ones you had to bring into the light. And I was like, I didn't know it got him.
Oh, yeah, it is Bonanza, dude. That's where Bonanza got the idea. All right. Chat, who is it? Who is the final boss in the pool?
Yeah, don't be a Knights Cap. Give us something good, please.
It's probably just going to be something crappy, but...
Most likely, but what if it was
if-
Consort too, you know?
Dude, bro, it is a...
Oh, it's just...
Erdtree avatar.
It's a generic Erdtree avatar.
Let's go. Dude, honestly, that's way more on brand. Honestly, it's proof that
This
we
is
didn't
what we,
plan to
this
see.
is the tier of boss we expected it to be.
Yeah.
We could have hoped for the grand finale. But
So
there
what's
it is.
funny is, even if Ragnar had sniped Kuiper for on that last kill in Castle Redmane, that was not enough points to overtake
All right.
Kuiper.
So our final score in base game, we have Kuiper in first place with 174 points, Free with 165 points, and a tie for third place, Ragnoth and Derpy at 144 points apiece. We have a little bit of extra time here. So what our four players are going to do, this is not something we typically do. They just entered the DLC and all four are going to blitz the first boss here and see who can take it down. They're going to be at Skidoo level 0. We have no idea what this boss is going to be, so here's a little finale, a little treat for you. Nice little bonus, but Spike, thanks for joining me tonight. And Ben, shout to
this
all
was
four of our runners.
Yeah, Kiara, thank you so much for... Kiara came into our chats and was like, I want to do this on my show. I was like, oh, okay, that's great. I know you were a big believer in these settings. They really are a ton of fun. We are hopefully going to get this to the point where it's very accessible for anyone to pick these up and play some Elden Ring randomizer with it. It's a good time. All right, who's it going to be? This is just another Erdtree avatar. Dude.
If it's a Knight's Cap, okay,
It's
no, no.
All right, how much damage does she take at +0? This will be the longest it will have ever taken to kill one of these.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Free. Oh, who's gonna go? Oh, Derpy taking the death. Free with the win. Woo! That's worth 800 points.
800 points. You're telling me Free won?
Free just won.
Well, that's going to be time for the showcase here, and we're going to go ahead and get our four wonderful racers back into the call here. Just giving them a couple seconds. Again, everybody, thank you so much for watching tonight. This is a super awesome showcase of what you can do with the randomizer. So many different settings, and get four players together, send them in, and see what happens. But first of all, Kuiper, congratulations, taking the victory here. Grand total of 174 points. But seriously, before that, we finished every single boss, including a bonus DLC boss, in under 2 hours. Big shout out to all four of you for accomplishing that, because that was ridiculous.
Yeah, we've only how many full clears have we gotten? I feel like
This is
just
number 3.
one?
We've
Like
we've done like 3 or 4.
I think this was our
It's been
third.
it's been recent where we've started getting to the full clear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do y'all think at some point you want to expand the boss pool, or do you feel like? I know
Well,
we've
no,
talked
so
about that a little bit.
we've already discussed incorporating every boss in the game,
Yep.
and that would include obviously all of the DLC bosses. It would also include bosses beyond the end of the game. There would be some other, I don't really know what you would call them, other liberties taken, other things edited to the world state.
Basically, we'd have to give ourselves graces.
Yes. We would be starting the game with a couple different graces.
Similar to how we start with the Liurnia grace.
Yeah. It would be a lot more open to the point where like you can go like the first thing you could kill if you really wanted to would be like Knight's Cabin mountaintops if you wanted to be an absolute lunatic.
Right.
But yeah, this was, I think, great. I think this is really funny, by the way, what I'm looking at. I think we all kind of like recently were starting to get to the point where we were full clearing everything. But then we also had a practice, I think it was like the last practice we did where there were like 12 bosses left. Or something like that. It just kind of depends on our builds and kind of, if we have some really unfortunate deaths, we all kind of like had good builds going, I think. This was great. I think we had a lot of really cool bosses. The only like really big things we didn't find were like Midra,
Consort Phase 2.
Consort Phase 2.
Sad Mesmer Phase 1.
We didn't find Mesmer Phase 1. We didn't find Bale.
We didn't find Elden Beast.
Yeah, Elden Beast was found.
We were going through all the bosses as Ragnath and Free were going down through the Sainted Hero's grave. Great last boss. We were like, Elden Beast could be Consort Phase 2. We're like, it's an Erdtree avatar. Let's go, baby.
Classic.
Honestly, more on brand that it was just an Erdtree avatar. Because had Ragnath sniped Kuiper in Castle Redmane, it was a Free, if he can get a 4-point boss, can force a pseudo overtime that probably would have been the solitary jail knight here.
Yep.
And it was just an Erdtree avatar. It wouldn't have been enough. I was like,
it came down to it.
Yep. So, but GG gamers, that was so much fun.
Yeah, well,
I just want to know how it was like for the two of you, like watching this. Like we obviously the four of us playing. We've talked about this before that like we really think these settings in a very strange way are just a really good spectator sport.
Yes.
I just want to know how it was like for the two of you watching.
Yeah, it was nice in the second half here. The first half, as we've been going through these, seeing everybody go their separate ways. And the second half is when we see a lot more stepping on each other's toes. So there are a couple good moments there with like the Divine Tower of Caelid. And even the finale where we had two simultaneous races going on. Where we had the top half of the screen and the bottom half of the screen both racing towards the final two bosses remaining, mere seconds apart on both ends. So, Kuiper, you and Ragnath were going towards Castle Redmane, mere seconds apart. I think Ragnath was first in, and then you overtook with Ragnath got stuck on a fence. And then even down to the HP, it could have been anybody's boss there. And likewise, Derpy and Free Shooter, both of you heading to Makar at the same time at the end, also mere seconds apart. So that was really exciting to end it out.
And also not realizing Free had done Wyndham Catacombs and ran through all of Wyndham Catacombs before.
Yeah, we did see
I was wondering. I was like, it's gold Free. I think something maybe didn't get.
Yeah, because I was running through Volcano Cave and the Sainted Hero's grave up in Gelmir. I'm not normally a Gelmir push person, so I was like,
I was wondering if that was like your first time pushing it. Yeah,
it's not the first, but it's been a while. Like it's been many seeds since I've been up there, so it was like, all right, time to remember all this, and so we were talking about it. So I just did not hear the Wyndham get because we had just talked about what was available up there still. So Wyndham had come up, so it was just in my mind.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, I want to give each of you one chance here to, talk about yourself, talk about your stream, any projects that you have coming up here in the near future. We'll go bottom up. We'll start with Derpy and Ragnath, who tied for third place. Coincidentally, it's like Derpy, everybody, Derpy Dragon 15. Go give him a follow. What you got coming up here, Derpy?
Actually might stream some stuff.
Yay!
Let's go.
Mainly, actually, Pokemon Champions. I'm planning on getting into Pokemon and competitive Pokemon here coming up. So,
Nice.
All right, Ragnoth, how about yourself?
In general, I've been doing just like a lot of Elden Ring rando in overall, but other than that, I'm currently trying to get a better PB in Pseudo Regalia and Eberson, no out of bounds, and I've been enjoying that. And then, other than that, probably going back to Cage 2 rando soon.
Ooh, KH2 random.
very fun.
Very fun. That'll make Spike happy for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Free Shooter, our runner-up, and also our, taking account for the most individual bosses killed this match.
39.
Yeah,
that's
39.
Oh, yeah. 2 off my PB. My PB is 41.
That's definitely normal that he's number one in that.
Yeah, for me, just gonna start trying to stream more regularly. A little hard with my job, but I make time when I can, and I'm trying to push for affiliates. So, yeah, come stop by. It's probably just gonna be more Elden Ring, more randomizer. It's honestly my favorite game of all time at this point, so I'm just gonna play more of it.
Sounds like a plan.
It's
Best of
very
luck.
fun watching your knowledge base for so many aspects of this game and learning off of you. It's a good time.
And last but not least, our first place champion of Game Masters here today, Kuiper Don't Care.
I am boo. Everyone's mad.
Stinky.
Everyone's mad. Yeah, so I obviously, if you know me from anything, you probably know me for two things, and that's Donkey Kong 64 randomizer and SMRPG low level. I still plan on doing both of those things. I need to reclaim my low level world record from that. But the main thing that I'm probably going to be doing here pretty soon is I have officially made splits and have routed out doing this game all bosses randomized deathless. I am going to be doing that. I already have everything set up for it.
Good luck.
So, yeah, I just it is crazy how much and this goes for like the four of us, how much I've played this game the last like year and a half, and I like just want to play more of this game because I love this game.
yeah.
And that is just a good way to do that. So that's going to be like the three main things that you're going to see from me. One last thing I do want to mention, because I wasn't sure if Kiara was going to mention it. Obviously, everybody here watching, you got to hear Spike and Kiara's wonderful commentary. I'm really excited to like go back and listen to this. I think it'll be really cool. We also had two other people in this call with us, our good friends Beryl and Saucy, who have been tracking for us, which is super awesome. So thank you to both of you for being here and doing that. However,
Yes, thank you.
the four of them who have been watching us do these and track for us and putting together, we thought it would be really cute if we had a little role reversal, that the four of you do one of these and the four of us watch and commentate. And I think that would be really fun. And track.
Yeah.
I think that would be very fun.
Yeah, you're going to see how hard it is.
I would love to do that. We'll definitely have to schedule something to, I would be glad to participate and get my butt kicked. So I need to go brush up on some skills, do some solos, and make sure I know where all these dungeons are and how to get through them. So, but yeah, I am game to do that at a future time. Again, yeah.
We will not
Daryl's
full
awesome.
clear.
Yes. And last but not least here.
Nah, you guys can full play.
Yeah, last person I do want to give some time to shout out Spike Vegeta, my co-commentator today. Bringing in so much knowledge because you've definitely played this game a little bit more than I have. But thanks for being an awesome co-commentator today, calling the action, and just sharing your energy here on Game Masters.
Absolutely, friend. Anytime. Thank you for having all of us.
That's twitch.tv/Spike Vegeta, since he didn't do it himself. So I'm going to do it for him.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, you can follow me. It's fine. We do stuff.
Yeah. Of course, as always, I'm Kiara_TV, your host of Game Masters, week after week. So thank you so much for watching today. And did you all know that Summer Games Done Quick 2026 is going to be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota from July 5th to 11th? I'm going to be there. Spike's probably going to be there. So accepted volunteers and runners will receive an event badge. You can apply by March 31st if you're interested, so you got a week to go for that. And camera ops, tech, donations, activities, or one of the other volunteer positions, you can visit gdq.gg/volunteer/apply to learn more. We'd love to have you at the event, helping make the event possible, because GDQ would not happen without its volunteers. So thank you so much, everybody who plans on volunteering, who has volunteered in the past. You really make the events possible for all of us to, raise a lot of money for a good cause. So thank you, everybody. With that, Derpy, Free Shooter, Kuiper, Ragnar, Spike, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Game Masters. We're going to send you off now, but stay tuned, because after the break, we're going to be replaying episodes of RNG and Game Masters if you missed them. And of course, you can tune in tomorrow, Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern for the start of GDQ at PAX East, live on Twitch and live in Boston from this Thursday to Sunday.